What's going on, guys? It's your boy TY, and I'm back. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. All right, I usually am at the beginning. We're here, and it's a special night. It's a special night. I think the Snyder cut or something like that's dropping tonight or this morning, I should say. Guys, welcome to the corner. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you're returning, we thank you. You're the lifeblood of the Pop Culture Corner. Tonight we are joined, and we will be joined by a couple people throughout the night. But we do want to say thank you to the patrons. Before we get into the who's here tonight, I want to say thank you to the patrons. Odd, Caden, Nick DePalma, Carlos. You guys are the first four. We want to say thank you. And tonight, even though Jack couldn't stop and do the show at Bonks, we are sponsored by Bonks. If you're in the Philadelphia area, and you're looking for a good time, head over, grab some seafood, grab some wings, grab some beer, grab some wine, and do some trivia on Thursday nights with producer Jack. It's a good time. It truly is. So I do want to introduce Mr. Jack and Justice. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, Drip. What's going on?
Big Drip. You guys ready? Oop, look at that. Look at that. You guys ready? You guys ready?
Yes, sir. A little bit. Yes, I am. I know you guys are hype. I'm coming into this with the most optimistic view. I'm taking a little bit from you, Jizzle, with the optimism kind of eyes. And I know you guys are hype. You at home should give yourselves a round of applause. This is y'all did it. This is a big move.
Yeah.
Big night. Y'all did it.
Definitely a weird start time. It's almost 11 o'clock. It's a weird start time. Like I noticed I went over to Lightcast to watch a little bit of what they were doing, and they had 12 people there. Lightcast usually has 300, and I mean it grew over time, but everyone's starting at such a weird time tonight, and I think a lot of people are trying to get some sleep before the morning, but that's okay. We're gonna do a pre-show. We'll break in the middle of the night and watch, do our thing, and then we'll come back in the morning on the 18th, which is a couple hours away, and then we'll do a post review show. But we did send the invite out to a couple people, and we got that one Carlos here today, and we're super happy about that.
I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, it's and I think Matt Jarbo will be stopping by. He'll probably be the first one. Everyone knows Jarbo. He actually
is that coffee?
It is coffee. I have a whole pot.
Dude, I'm still holding out hope for Walter Hamada to be on our show. Just
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's get Walter Hamada on the show.
Maybe he just shows up one day.
He stops by. He's like, "What's up, bitches?" And as it hit midnight, HBO just crashes. Like, oh, what happened?
Yeah,
what happened to your movie? And Joss Whedon's behind him. They high five.
Yeah, I guess that's my first question is, do you think the servers will take a crash tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it on such an off time, at least for the United States, which is the main platform for HBOmax, because other countries would be using Binge or Skynet or not Skynet, not Skynet.
Sky. Well, Joe Morton is in this movie, and he does build another robot.
Yeah. He does. Oh my God! And we were talking about that the other day on the live podcast, Jack, about Joe Morton and the little nod that you do get in the Snyder cut to Terminator, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, he's in his mid-70s. He doesn't look it at all.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. I reached out.
This reference you guys are referring to right now, that whole shout out to him went right by me. Didn't even notice that. That went right over my head. Didn't even notice it.
The first when you watch it again, it's the first meeting. Well, the first time we see Cyborg and Silas Stone together. Just listen to what Cyborg says. It's not a direct hey, you were in Terminator, but it is a nod to yes. So
I didn't know what you were saying because I didn't watch the movie. I was just
I know.
I know.
Sorry about that.
Spoilers. Stop it.
Yeah.
Just back on the servers. Yeah, I did because it's such a weird time. 3 a.m. for the Eastern folk and 2 a.m. for Central and whatnot. I think the bulk of the traffic is coming from the West Coast, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a smooth transition.
I would like to crash just because it would make a story. Just so like on the internet, they're gonna have to. The news, CNN is gonna have to cover it. This movie is so big.
Yeah. But I mean, Carlos made a solid point. Carlos made a solid point. Simply because of when it's coming on, what time. Most likely, it's going to be the West Coast that really floods it because there's not going to be that many people willing to. It's a Wednesday night, right? Most people got to work tomorrow, and it's 3 a.m. on the East Coast, 2 a.m. Central. A lot of people are I'll watch it first thing in the morning, or I'll watch it after work on the 18th, right? So I don't see.
I don't know about that, dude. I know a lot of people who took. If you're in the comments, let me know if you took work off. A lot of people took work off as if it was a holiday. I
was gonna take work off, but then things worked out where I can't go to work, so it kind of worked out because everyone's actually at home right now, and we all get to watch it tomorrow morning.
And I still have the question of what kind of numbers does it take to crash a streaming service, right? Because the last time we had this conversation, apparently the numbers I was thinking, wasn't exactly the numbers that it requires. It's a lot smaller, actually. Like it doesn't take that many people to crash a server. So it depends on the numbers.
Well, it's also not a specific number. It's not like, all right, hey, once 10,000 people access it, it drops. It's all about bandwidth and how many people are trying to access it at one time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's again, we bring up the rubber ball concept. And it's you take the rubber band ball and you have people pulling from it all different sides. Eventually, it's going to snap. So and we saw it a couple times for WandaVision.
Yeah, that's something I was going to say. If it was for WandaVision, which is it happened like I don't know, episode 5, and like some of those middle episodes, at least for me, we seen that happen. It's the same time frame because it's still 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. And like Disney Plus has been up for a longer period of time, had more opportunity to kind of like reinforce their kind of releases and stuff like that. So I think it takes less. It's comparable. I think it's comparable. So, and I really do think we could see more turnout than an episode of WandaVision. So,
my God, yes.
And let's not forget that before HBOmax, they did have HBO Now and HBO Go. They had 2 streaming services, so they're not virgins.
They're not new. Yeah, they're not new, especially for Game of Thrones. People were crazy about Game of Thrones.
That's true. That's a great example. If they could handle Game of Thrones, chances are they can handle this. Because you're right, Game of Thrones was big, and everybody and their mother were flooding to it and watching it roughly at the same time. Everybody wanted to see it the second it dropped, so they could talk about it at the office the next day, right? So I think that's a very solid point, and I think HBO can handle this, even if everybody does show up at the same time.
Yeah. And I wonder, because you know how HBO and HBO Max, I don't think does it anymore, but you know how they used to play movies or like Game of Thrones at specific times as like a block of show?
Yeah.
I wonder if I wonder if the Snyder Cut will be a 4-hour block and then also be able to accessed via on-demand start, because HBO really does. That's how it kind of works. For instance, when you watch Westworld, it starts at 8 p.m. and it's a block, an hour block, which is taken up by Westworld's.
I don't think this will be on. Are you suggesting it might be on TV, like on HBO?
No. But HBO is never TV. I'm saying. Like if you have cable, right?
Yeah.
And you have HBO Max through cable.
Yeah.
If you go to the channel that HBO Max is, HBO Max typically has a channel on cable. I wonder if the Snyder Cut will get a block.
Oh, okay. I don't even know if they have that.
If they do, I had no idea. I haven't had cable in so long. That's really interesting. I had no clue
is cable
doing that. Exactly.
My Xfinity doesn't have an HBO Max channel.
I had no idea that was a thing. So if that is the case and they have a channel dedicated to HBO Max, then absolutely it's going to get its own block. Absolutely. If that's what the channel is for, HBO Max content, absolutely.
What I am experienced with is having the Amazon Prime, the Amazon Fire Stick HBO channel where they have like 10 or 12 different like live streams or live channels going at the same time. HBO 1, HBO 2, HBO West, HBO Latino, stuff like that.
So, family,
so I don't know if necessarily one of those will be booked by the Snyder Cut. I mean, like if it was, then they would have premiered. They would have said so. It's like that would mean that would make it a premiere. It wouldn't make it a release. You know what I mean?
No, and I think they want this to be just Max. Like this is a Max. It doesn't say HBO original. It says Max original. Like this is our thing.
So the only way I see that happening is if what he said is true. There's a HBO Max channel because like you just said, it's a Max original. It's not an HBO original. It's a Max original. So it would only go to a channel dedicated to HBO Max.
And no previous HBO original has gotten a premiere like that.
No.
Like Lovecraft Country,
could be a special occasion. I mean, it is, right? This
is very
film.
This is a very unprecedented thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I was running it, I would give it at very least a specific cable spot. At very least, that's not even that major of a move, right? That's a very minor move, but it helps. It boosts some views. I would do this something like that.
Probably like prime time tomorrow, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And then, are you guys happy? We were talking about how they weren't really promoting it that much, but I think the last 2 weeks. I've been seeing Snyder Cut everywhere, YouTube ads everywhere.
Oh yeah, me too.
Absolutely. Twitter ads.
Hollywood Reporter and Zack is on the news. And I was glad. I said that's what they should do. They should premiere it like it's a brand new movie, which it is, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. So Jack, this is something I have brought up to you when you guys first released the first episode of The Road to the Snyder Cut. Make sure you guys check that out. It's a documentary made by these two up here. It was very well done. That first episode, you bring us back to all the hype for BVS, right?
Yeah.
And you Jack, you brought me back in time with that one because I remember that hype. I was hyped for BVS. Trailer, gorgeous. All the presentation, everything they did, I was so hyped for this movie, right? So this is a very similar situation where they should do the same and bring that same kind of hype up and do the same kind of things because they know how to do it. BVS was excellent from a marketing standpoint. Anyways,
yeah, from a marketing standpoint,
yeah.
Well, I
feel they should be doing the same thing.
Yeah,
I did hear a bunch of fan outrage. I remember it very vividly when the second trailer, if I'm not mistaken, went out and Doomsday was spoiled.
That was the third one.
Second or third one. I remember those huge downvote. Like everybody was raging. They're like, "Oh, I know the movie now." You know, like, "Oh, there's such a big threat that they have to team up." You know. So like, I mean, it was a shame. But the marketing for BVS, especially that final trailer, that it was bomb.
But I think from what I've seen so far, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of reviews and YouTubers. People who admit, Dan Merle. Do you guys know Dan Merle? He used to be with Honest Trailers and Screen Junkies. He flat out said his review. I did not like BVS. I did not like Man of Steel. I did not like Zack Snyder's take. But I have to admit, this was a really good movie. And I'm hearing a lot of that. I'm hearing a lot of people who didn't like Man of Steel or the Ultimate Edition of BVS, but they're like, this movie I liked. This movie delivered. And I think that's reflected, not that it matters, but we should, we have a whole chapter in our documentary about Rotten Tomatoes. This is getting pretty good reviews from top critics, from like, CNN, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, the official ones.
Okay. So
what
I got
did it come in at today?
Right now it's at 77, but it keeps fluctuating. Sometimes it's 78, sometimes it's 77. It's probably going to change again.
I saw 72, or like I think it was yesterday. But or like early in the morning. But yeah, like I say, it's hovering around where Birds of Prey is. I did notice that.
Interesting.
So
I don't know. Was Birds of Prey received critically like well? Because I only know my personal view of the movie. Did they take it well?
I have very mixed feelings about that. I mean, I could speak about it, but I'm speaking from a critical standpoint.
Yeah,
right?
It got good reviews. A lot of it had to do with the politics again, because it was an all-female cast. There weren't any good male characters. It was a diverse cast, and people were like, "Oh, this is wonderful." So that's where the critics were coming from.
in our ears, right? That doesn't sound so good. Oh, it's on the same level as Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
The four of us are like, oh, that sounds terrible. But critics liked Birds of Prey, so it has a good rating. That's not a bad thing from a critical standpoint.
Yeah.
And a question
and I've been kind of easy on Birds of Prey. I've actually kind of enjoyed it. I saw it twice, and then it was on HBO one day, and there was nothing else on. I just watched it, and I was entertained. Yeah. Not saying it's a great movie, but I was entertained. I was following the story. Margot Robbie is full Margot Robbie, like no holds barred, and I loved it.
Yeah, thus far she's been the most enjoyable part of both of those movies. So I do have a question for the three of you. Do you think so? It's getting good. It's getting rated well critically, and for the most part, you see positive feedback, right? BVS and Man of Steel, not so much, right? Critically, just from a critical standpoint, neither one of those movies were received well. But it seems Justice League is. Do you guys think that's enough to save this universe? If HBO is looking at these numbers, right, ignoring the fans, looking strictly at critical, if HBO is looking at these numbers, do you think this movie is enough to save it?
I think they would care more about the hype that's building up on social media, and the basically the like the self marketing is like this movie literally markets itself. Yeah, because the fans are so dedicated. So the scores, I just say are a bonus. That continuing down this pathway is a step in the right. It is a step in the right direction. I remember when we were using that phrase when we were watching when critics were watching Justice League. Step in the right direction. Everything's getting all lighthearted. But no, I think this is truly a good sign. I mean, heads of like HBOmax, Warner Media is promoting this on Twitter. Jason Keelar, AT&T, their eyes are wide open. They are being very receptive. So in the next few weeks, we're going to see what kind of response or kind of
and not only that. There are two things. They know that most of the marketing for this, except for the last couple of weeks, was all the fans. They have a built-in fan base that will market the crap out of this. Even let's say this movie's not that good. I mean, we know it is. We know the critic. But let's say it wasn't. We would still be defending. They know that, and you can't buy that. You can't get fans to do that. A corporation can't get fans to do that. Fans do that on their own. So they have to look at the fact that, hey, there's a loyal fan base that will fight for these and will pay for this, and we'll see it, and we should capitalize on that. And then going back to BVS and Man of Steel, I've seen a lot of people change their minds about at least Man of Steel a lot. People go back and say, okay, a couple of years have gone by, and I see what Snyder was trying to do, and taking that into consideration, they kind of know what to expect with Justice League. They're not looking for a Marvel movie. They know, okay, this is what Zack did in the first two movies. It's going to be edgier. It's going to be darker. It's going to be a little bit more, not realistic, but more grounded. Yeah. And my dad wouldn't shut up about it. He's like, I kind of liked how this was more realistic, and maybe not realistic is not the better word. Grounded is a better word. But he was like, this is so different than anything we've seen before. I'm like, yeah, even I was surprised by how much it met my expectations. Because even I was like, oh, man, can it be really good as much as we're picturing in our heads, Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people change their minds about Man of Steel and BVS too. I mean, you still have the people who don't like it, and that's fair. But I think a lot of people have looked back at those movies like, okay, now I'm kind of starting to see what he was trying to do. And I can't deny that that's affected the critics who reviewed Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes. And that's, and that's why I specifically mentioned critics, because you can't get a straight flat out answer.
A refrigerator.
We're talking about fans, right? Fans have all different kinds of feelings, and everybody thinks differently. And that's why I was looking at critics, because there's a number score there, right? So we can get more of a solid answer rather than like a emotional answer, I guess, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah, quantity, like something
like measured. Are you guys ready?
Ready for what? What's happening? What's going on?
To tune into the red carpet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Alrighty. Okay, 1 second. I think I just saw what's her name there? Liz. Can you guys hear it?
Once you do this, you do.
Yes.
Them, you're gonna have your run in with Cyborg, where you boom, pound it.
I mean,
my god.
we can continue talking as well. Don't worry, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen a single piece of this, and it's looking great.
Yeah, this was all from the behind the scenes Justice League, like actual. This is from the
he still has that
Blu-ray.
Stone Cold face. Yeah.
They need to put our documentary on the 4K for this movie. Fridge.
Got her like that.
That's right. That's
How do I
right.
get the?
That's right, Jack. Fucking right. Fucking right. Imagine that. That's a beautiful thing. Being a DVD 4K bonus.
Yeah.
So they're live.
Dude, every time I see Affleck, I can't get excited about Pattinson, even though I know he'll do a good job. I just
when you do your big turn and you're looking at the Justice
look
League
at
on
him.
the hill,
I'm like, it's like the pure opposite feeling for me. Every time I look at Affleck, I'm like, oh, thank God, somebody new is coming soon.
See how their comment thread is? That's how I want mine one day.
Yeah.
Hopes and dreams, baby.
My God, there's so many.
I know.
It just
I
never.
had no idea they were doing this.
What's crazy is that will never stop throughout this whole night. That will go like that that whole time.
Oh,
People
yeah.
just say,
Yeah.
people just say shit to say shit too. They're
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
enter, cool,
And that's,
enter.
you know, Jizzle, remember when we were having a conversation, I was like, dude, I can't wrap my head around what they find interesting about that, right? Because it's moving so quickly, you can't get
No one catches any of it, and no one's going back and reading those.
Yeah, my point exactly. Who are you talking to?
Am I
Oh, here we
right?
go.
Ugh. Now let's check back with the fan pen where Joel is standing by
Kevin
some
Smith, oh
questions.
my
Joel,
goodness.
Yeah.
Now time for a little Q&A with our
my
resident
God.
Snyder
Silent
Cut
Bob.
super fans. Can you talk
Look, hey, we know a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Of us were, familiar.
We've had him on the
To
show.
Stephen Colbert.
Interested in both like the DC properties, but also Zack Snyder as a
I
filmmaker.
can't hear
What
shit.
Zack does is an art form, and through his art form, I've met so many amazing people, and these people that are here with me now are all my friends, and I talk with them every single day.
We just developed this really awesome friendship, and it's just been a hell of a ride.
Who's your favorite Justice League member?
You can't beat the big man with the S. It's Superman, without a doubt.
Oh, lame. It's Batman. All right.
Oh, that's why Dave said he couldn't join me tonight,
It is Wonder Woman.
because he's
There's
doing
something about
this.
the way that
That makes
Snyder
more sense.
represents the women's in his movies that is
So see the guy with the purple background?
He can do anything.
Yeah.
That's
Right
fun
here?
too.
When we're
Yeah.
talking about the
That's
largest
Ohio
Justice
Dave, and
League
I've
villain
been
in
trying. He's been asking to
Starry
we've been trying to
And
get
then
on with each other,
I'm
Yeah.
and that's clearly he was like, "Oh, I'm busy tonight." I didn't even put it together.
My man.
characters and make them feel real.
What are you guys excited to see out of Darkseid?
Everything. Just hear that voice.
Yes.
Oh my God, chills from that voice when I heard it for the first time.
They should have had some of the people from the reveal when Snyder revealed the Snyder Cut
How are you going to
from
do
that watch party.
premiere
Yeah.
tonight?
That'd been kind of cool because their faces are so famous now just from that commercial they
I'm
put
gonna
out.
soak it all in
Mm.
and just have a big smile on my face, but probably end up crying as well.
Are you guys going to do it in chapters?
And,
That's
And
funny.
then I'm gonna attempt to do it in the qualities that Zack has.
I don't know where to watch it on the StreamYard screen or on the
Because I wanna
second
be,
screen,
like,
so it's
full
kind of
attention.
confusing.
The only break I'll be taking will be hopping on Zoom to
That's
talk
not
to
even
Nana
Steven's.
and our
Steven
friends
should have used his
after
regular
we're done with
background.
that.
Did nobody notice that?
And
Liz,
then watch
Liz in the background
We
has
did.
Batman's
It's gonna be
cowl
serious.
wearing
Have
Wonder
fun.
Woman's suit.
Let's get back to you, Kevin.
Did you guys not see
All right, my
that?
friends,
Yeah,
you have read
she
all
made a
the rumors,
TikTok
man.
video
You've
earlier
seen
of
all
it.
the teasers,
Yeah,
and you have
that's
watched
hilarious.
the shot-for-shot breakdowns
are those
of
to
every
scale?
official
Those
trailer.
aren't
But
to
no
scale,
one,
yes.
I mean, no one
Yeah, that suit is
outside of this
beautiful.
production
Batman's suit is
has
beautiful.
seen this
So Ben Affleck, is that
exclusive
gigantic?
Dark Side clip
Yes.
Yeah,
that
he's
we're
like
about to
6'4".
show you
He's huge.
right
Yeah.
now, man. This is something we have been waiting for years. This is the
he
very
that
last
tall?
first look any
I
of
knew
us
he was
will ever
bulky.
see
I didn't know he
before
was
the
that tall.
official debut
Jesus.
of
Yeah, but
Zack
he's always
Snyder's
skinny in his
Justice
movies,
League later
like
on
usually.
tonight.
Yeah.
This is Zack's gift
And
to all
and
of
you
us,
got to think that
especially you. Enjoy.
that might not be Ben's suit.
Is this not very similar to that? Does that not fall
Sorry.
under the same umbrella of spoilers?
I respect if you want to stop it.
I'm stopping that for now. I'm not promoting that.
That's a lot.
It's
That's a lot.
hey,
mean, I don't
it's
know
still
how-
going. It's still going, by the way.
Is it? Wow.
Like it gets all the way to who comes out, And like,
yeah, geez, that they shouldn't do that.
But look, I think it's like they're trying to hype up as many as possible, right? They're trying to get outside of this fandom and still hype this up. So they pick a dope ass scene and they show it. So they get everybody's attention. You know what I mean? I get it. It was excessive.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So I figured maybe I watch an hour, go to sleep and stuff. I watched it till 5
I want to hear what he says here. So
you
guys.
I think in terms of a superhero movie or a comic book movie, probably the most visionary. Instantly, you could tell the artist behind it. You're a guy that paints in splash pages. If you're a comic book collector, there's the idea of a splash page is you open up a double page spread and it's just this gorgeous imagery that the artist has put together. That's what this movie is. It is a series of splash pages. And even when you break it down into the chapters, it felt like an entirely coherent comic book experience. Because as you read an arc that involves a couple different stories, a couple different issues, sometimes they dedicate an issue to one character, and then bring them all together.
Yeah.
So it played out exactly like that. Now, going back to the start, and I mean Man of Steel.
Sure.
Was that the vision that one day you would get to a 4-hour giganto cut of Justice League?
Well, you know, when we did Man of Steel, you know, in a world with Batman, in a world with just Batman, it's hard to have Superman as well.
Right.
Like that day, if you decide like we should add Superman to this world, it'd be kind of tough because you'd be like, well, we kind of haven't had him before, and this is a deal. But in a world with Superman, Batman might be out there somewhere in an alley beating up some dude. So a bad guy, of course. You know, when we were doing Man of Steel, we did like, you know, there's a little bit of LexCorp, there's a little bit of, you know, Wayne. So, you know, just trying to say like, look, we think that shit's out there.
There's a satellite. Like I remember the Wayne Tech satellite, and everyone in the audience was like, ah!
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like, okay, you know, we always had that eye to go to, you know, Justice League was that going to be out there.
Right.
And so the idea of it being 4 hours and being sort of what we have now.
Oh, Justice, your
evolved
satellite's going again.
BVS, and we
satellite
really see the world. And now it was time to meet everybody.
Justice always has like a satellite in the background that's always like orbiting him at all times, making obnoxious noises. It's weird.
Like we're really gonna blow.
It's a Wayne satellite too.
I knew it was
that's
gonna be a
the
long
reference.
movie to introduce them correctly.
Let me know when you get that handled, J boy.
Give the villain, frankly, you know,
that's my name now.
Needed their,
yes. Carlos, what are you most excited for in the Snyder Cut?
Emotional journey.
Oh, it would.
Even
God,
for Steppenwolf, I wanted
so hard. History lesson is up there.
How many days did you guys shoot? You know?
I'm a very visceral guy, very visual, very all of that. So I'm trying to speak.
What the hell?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's definitely Debbie.
I'm trying to speak and listen to this.
Yes.
But bottom line is that like I'm just looking for that choreography, that, you know, warehouse level fight choreography, even if it's CGI, like Doomsday level fight choreography. That was in the CGI, it was beautiful, and like I just want the stakes to go up and up and up and up and up. You know, so if Steppenwolf and Darkseid are literally be turning worlds to dust, it's like you can't just punch him. You can't just punch Steppenwolf in the face and it just slightly cracks the wall behind him. No. You need to like throw him into the sun or something, which I don't expect. You know, probably hit him with the planet or something.
Why aren't you watching with us? Why aren't you watching? Oh, he's watching with it too. I see. Okay, all right.
So that's what I'm looking for. The action.
Yeah, no, I feel you, Carlos. I'm sure you've been around long enough, but that's the one thing I always give Zack Snyder, no matter the case. His choreography, his action, his cinematography is always on point. Action is always fun, and your visuals always look beautiful.
Affection from your cast.
Yeah, so it's just that and the scaling. It's like that's all. I'm all there.
I really consider them friends.
I'm all there.
Dude, next time I go to the stylist, I'm like, can you make my hair look like that? Look how good his hair looks.
I've been making these movies for almost 10 years.
Can I
pop quiz?
Literally,
What does Snyder call his haircut?
I don't know any other actors.
Oh.
At this point,
Snyder.
Oh my!
kind of, you know,
I was literally trying to come with something original.
What was the joke? Wait, was it? I think it was Jack that shared this joke the other day, and it was like,
that sort of movement, really did
when
gain
when
momentum,
Yoda sees himself in 4K, HDMI.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Fans really,
the worst joke I've ever heard in my life.
Ew.
And then
Boo.
all, joined in, and Ray, of course, and they all really kind of
that was a pretty rough one.
Into and you know,
That's all right.
my agent got a call
funny.
from the studio the next day.
It's a pretty rough one.
And let's talk
So
about.
I got a question for Kevin Smith. How does Zack Snyder's balls taste?
Got it.
Is that just me, or did you guys notice that first 30 seconds he was just fucking, he was really going in?
Yeah, why don't you go easy on that though?
Yeah. Kevin's always like this though. He's always
I know.
overly excited to meet people. You should have seen him when he met the cast of Cobra Kai. He was like a little girl, like, you know.
Well, that's
like,
I hear.
I like his passion because he's a dork. He's a self-admitted dork. His movies are filled with dumb references because he's a geek.
Yes. Yeah. I find it every time I hear, I don't like dislike Kevin Smith. I like all of his movies he's done, Dogma, Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob. I like all of those. But every time I hear his name throughout like a nerd community, they're always like talking shit. Everybody hates Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
So
language.
I find it weird.
Let's go easy on the language, please.
Is hate a bad word?
No, you've said the F word and the S word and the 4 times in the past 3 minutes. So
the only S word you can say tonight is Snyder.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Insane.
We've let ourselves get away with that too much lately.
I just find it weird that they would even take Kevin Smith. I don't know. I just all I ever
Kevin
hear
has
is
a huge following. I mean, I've always liked him. I love Clerks too. I think that's a phenomenal sequel.
As do I like those movies.
But for every Clerks movie, there's Tusk. So I mean, I don't know if Kevin Smith should be making movies. Is the way I've always felt.
I always felt like when he was in the View Askew universe, like that's where he was. Like Clerks, Mallrats, you know, those movies that are. I didn't see the reboot, the Jane Silent Bob reboot.
Nor have I. I've yet to see that.
Yeah, it was.
But I liked his stuff in the 90s and early 2000s. Even Jersey Girl, which got crapped on, I actually thought it was a pretty powerful film. It was really emotional. Like, I don't know if it's because Affleck was really popular at the time, but I thought that was a good movie.
He does that. Back in the day, he did a lot of those kind of movies. Even Dogma had like this heavy kind of like religious subject on it, you know.
And he was on Bill Maher, and he was like, I'm still technically Catholic because like the world is so screwed up. Like I don't know what to, you know. And there's some great news footage. Some Catholic people were protesting the movie Dogma, and they didn't know who Kevin Smith was, so he joined them and started protesting. And the news came up to him, was like, they didn't know that was Kevin Smith. He's like, I think this movie is just offensive, and I think Japan, like, they didn't realize that was actually him.
That's great. A-level trolling.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jarbo? How you doing?
It's been a busy day. It's been a very busy day.
Yeah. You've been. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I'm not done enjoying myself. That sounds really bad to say out loud. Actually, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase.
Especially when I'm talking to you, it definitely sounds even worse.
Yeah, it sounds really bad. Like I hope you're enjoying. Oh, I'm not done enjoying myself. Why do you think I'm not on camera? I'm not on camera. This is how I roll. It's how I get into the mood to come on live streams.
Yeah,
clearly.
So, before all of it, what was your most anticipated moment?
In the movie?
Yeah, like what were you?
I haven't finished it yet. I have not had time. Things keep coming up. That's the problem. I'm halfway through.
Right, but beforehand, before you started it.
Yeah, for me probably, and you know, this is going to sound so absolutely cliche, but it's like the nightmare stuff.
Yeah,
I think just given the concept of like good and bad mean nothing in that future, and it's really about like let's just find a way to survive this together. I just want to see more of that played out.
Yeah.
But you know, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I definitely am enjoying myself. That is for certain. But yeah, it's just too much going on to really kind of sit down and dive in.
Yeah, and for the nightmare stuff, it's not. It doesn't happen right away, and it doesn't happen for a while. And I think where it's placed in the story is perfect. I think it just it couldn't have been anywhere else. We get glimpses of it throughout the film with different aspects, but like where the brunt of it happens, you're gonna be blown away. Or at least I was.
Yeah, and I'm definitely I'm anticipating that. I was actually really impressed with a lot because I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen Justice League more than one time, and that was just in theaters when it came out. You know, and I never really gave it a second thought, to be honest with you.
Right.
And you know, but like I remember the Comic-Con 2016 trailer. And I remember like how that looked, and like going back to that, something I've been looking forward to. And it's so weird though, because looking at where movie, like at least the DC films are now, like Aquaman specifically, with like the color palette used in that movie, which I really liked, and the tone, this feels like so like vastly different in some respects, but it also feels like a precursor to it, and it works for me. Like I'm just very happy with Jason Momoa.
Right.
So I love all that stuff. You know, I think if I had like the only thing that I've noticed that's a negative so far is just like sometimes I feel like some of the scenes go on a little bit too long and there's a little bit too much slow-mo. I get it, but at the same time it's like, okay, we could you know?
I've been seeing a lot of people say that. So you're not the only one.
Yeah. It doesn't take away. Well, one of the things that cracks me up though is that you can totally tell that it is a movie that is a comic book movie that is made like a comic book. Yeah. And I say that because like there's like a part in the Themyscira battle where like they stop and have a conversation. It feels like it's just like all this action. And then it's like two characters having a conversation. Like, you good? Yeah, no, I'm good. You good? I mean, you're kind of dead. Yeah. All right. And then it's like, I'm like, really? like people around you are dying and you're just going to have okay. But it felt like I was reading a panel in a comic book is what it felt like to me.
That's what Kevin Smith was actually just saying on the premiere. He was like, I felt like it was a, what did he call it? A double splash
like
page.
Double page thing,
Yeah. That's kind of what, and I think he might be referring to the same exact spot I'm referring to. But other than that, like, no, I keep getting distracted. I keep getting interrupted. Like I got 20 minutes into the movie and then I get a call from a friend of mine who's a film producer out of Georgia. And I'm like, oh crap, he's calling me. This is going to be a big thing. And he called me just to complain about some stuff. and then I'm like 40 minutes later, I'm like, well, I got to get my kids up from their nap. So, you know, like, thanks, buddy. Love you.
Yeah. And that's like the hardest thing I found about the movie was I was pausing it a lot myself, like for no reason too. Like I would pause it, decompress, write something down. Then I'd be like, oh, I really want a cigarette, and like go outside, and then I'd come back and then I'd sit down. So like I tormented myself almost throughout it, you know?
Well, yeah, but the thing is though, is like but like the fact that the chapters are about every 37 to 40 minutes, at least where I'm at right now, perfect time to like stop, go take a piss, have a smoke.
That's what someone asked me. They said, do you have could you tell me one thing? And I said, depends on what it is. Cause spoilers, like, they're really like against my religion, like in my own religion. Just, I made it up. And, he's like, yeah, but I just want to know like where are good times to pause the movie. I said, he gave you them literally, like when it says, it'll literally say part 1, you could pause it. Part 2, pause. Part 3, pause. Part 4, pause. That's what they're there for, is to help you. So
do they have individual like title cards for it, or is it just like so it's like a Kill Bill?
Well, those that's not a spoiler. Those have literally been put on Twitter.
They
like
goes out,
Yeah. So
I
it's
thought it was a promo.
No, it was good. It works though, because it's going to give us all like breakpoints in our discussions about the movie.
100%. 100%.
And they were 100% necessary. Like sorry, Drizzle, but I was doing the same thing he was. I was writing things down, and it was necessary for me to pause it. There's a lot to this. There's a lot. It's a 4-hour and some change film. So every so often, I would need to pause it, jot some thoughts down before they leave my head, and something new comes in. You know.
Yeah, because unfortunately, the way that it was given to us at I think like 12:50, 12:40, right, Jack?
Yeah. Yeah, around 12:40. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. You guys had I was getting literal phone calls.
Oh
the
no,
other
no,
night
no,
when
no,
all
no,
that crap went down.
We're talking about the other one.
The premiere?
The 13th.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, because on the 15th, apparently no one got it at when they were supposed to.
Oh, really?
Oh, right. Sorry, there's Monday and then like last. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
We were given the option. Do you want to go? Do you want to see it with the press on the 15th, or do you want to see it on the 13th with the fans? And due to being selfish, I said, yeah, the 13th, of course.
Why would you ever want to go later? That's just the stupidest thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want to come first. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
Exactly.
Like, I want to get to the party and like know what I'm in for, and then go home and brag to all of you.
Yeah.
But
so
to be fair though, between Saturday and now, it's been so hard not to talk about spoilers because it's like boiling up. Because we do a daily show almost, and it's like, oh, how do we not talk about
Yeah.
And people got
People
got mad at me. I felt the Jarbo effect finally. I really did.
Nah, you maybe got a taste of the Jarbo.
Speaking of that,
I have angered everyone tonight too, man. That was great. Like, because you heard about Zack going on that stream, right? You hear about that?
What, the Geeks and Gamers thing, right?
He disavowed Geeks and Gamers.
Disavowed, for anyone that doesn't know, means doesn't take responsibility or
accountability for it,
or accountability. Like so what happened with that?
So basically, I was watching the movie, and again, I just get a DM on Twitter like, Zack just went after Geeks and Gamers. I'm like, wait, what? Pause, fire up the stream, and then basically Zack just came on in to this. You know, they're doing this whole big promotion, and he just like starts off by going, "Let me just get this out of the way real quick. Geeks and Gamers is like, we're not associated with Geeks and Gamers." So it was a light nut thwap, but it was a nut thwap nonetheless. And it's hysterical because it's just, they're freaking out right now. Like one of them's Jeremy is like running a live stream, and he's got like 7,000 people watching him complain about Zack Snyder disavowing him.
Right.
You know? But and the super chats are just like rolling in because all this stuff is monetized outrage. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh my God. But so 1 second. Let me mute the satellite guy. Okay. My boy. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened? So you got suspended from live shows?
No, yeah. So I can't live stream until June 8th. And the reason why was because when HBOmax, put the movie up on Tom and Jerry, a lot of people saw it for 2 hours. They can deny it all they want for a couple minutes. It was 2 hours. And so then there was one image that was being shared around. It was just like directed by Zack Snyder image. And I'm like, all right. And so I put that in the thumbnail, cause it's like, cause it's not, because the thing was, it's not a leak. This wasn't distributed illegally, right? Yeah. This is distributed. This was a screw up on their part, but it still went through legal channels. It was just an error. And so whatever, like, it's just, who cares about a single frame about that, right? Well, then there was also the nightmare sequence floating around, and I had an image of Cyborg just to confirm the validity of people were watching this. Right. And I put that in there. So I got hit with 2, that was it, like nothing else. Cause there was like nothing else. There was other spoilers that were out there, but I wasn't talking about those. And so they ended up giving me 2 copyright strikes from this company called Mark Scan Enforcement, which is like some third party that gets hired by Warner's or whoever to track this stuff down. So I filed a counter dispute. Okay. And usually it's like, most of those times they just end up kind of going away. No, last night I got 2 emails from YouTube saying that the counter dispute has been passed on to the Warner Brothers legal team. And they either are going to actually sue me within the next 10 business days. They're going to file paperwork to sue me legally for what I'm not too sure. I mean, really, for what? I'm not too sure.
Right.
And then, or they're going to have to drop the claim. The likelihood of them dropping the claim before the 10 days is pretty high.
Right.
They're probably just waiting until after tomorrow or
they kind of want to scare you a little bit. And
like, don't do it again. And I'm already like, bitch, I'm taking notes to do my 6-chapter breakdown.
Right.
Because by that point it'll be out. And like, I'm also, to be fair, like I'm kind of waiting to see if they do sue me. Cause like, that would be funny. Like not in like a ha 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 sort of way, but in like a,
Yeah, that would be really strange though, and it wouldn't be a good look on their part because they're suing you. And listen, I'm all about Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? I love the film. I am so grateful to HBOmax, but there was an error made by them, and you just talked about it, maybe shared a little bit of it, and now
single frames, no spoiler, and for only a little bit at a time, not like had up on screen for like the entire time or nothing like that. Didn't link where to get it because I didn't know where to get it. And even the guy who took the screenshot that ended up blowing the whole thing up, that screenshot was DMCA'd by Warner Brothers on Twitter. So, they were, I get it. They're trying to do like the whole scorched earth thing and everything else, but then last night, all of a sudden my DM started filling up, people going like, dude, 7 gigs. And I'm like, what? And like 7 gigs. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, it's 7 gigs. I'm like, what is 7? Like Snyder cut. I'm like, oh, it leaked. Oh, okay. Where is it? It's all over the Philippines. Like the Philippines are going crazy. That's what I was hearing. I have no idea. I went to bed early last night, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know how to like take that commentary. It's like, it's out now. Is this what you're trying to tell me? But you're just being cryptic and saying like the data's file size. Okay, like that doesn't mean no.
Like, what happens when you go to Google and type in 7 gigs?
Yeah, a whole bunch could happen with it. I have no idea. And so people were. That's the thing. There's like because of the way it came out, people were looking for it to leak. And of course, everything leaks anyway. Nothing is ever truly. And this is the thing. Even with like the BVS trailer, I read this up yesterday. Originally, they were going to do a teaser trailer that was going to be an IMAX only, right? It was like going to be this special little engagement for like the IMAX tease on April 20th, 2016. Or no, 2015 or something like that. Anyway, but it leaked early, 4 days early. Somebody leaked it the day after Zack announced it. So like there's always been this weird kind of like thing with that happening with Zack and his movies, but it's not a huge conspiracy. This stuff leaks out all the time. Even before Avengers Age of Ultron, they were going to have a trailer by the end of the week. It leaked online like 3 days early,
right?
And it was like, it was everywhere. So then they went, all right, screw it. Let's just push it out there. Even David Ayer's Suicide Squad, they showed the trailer at Comic-Con 2015. And I was there for that. And then somebody bootlegged it and they put out like the grainy cell phone footage and people were criticizing it. So Ayer's like, well, screw it. Let's just drop the whole trailer.
Right. That's typically the response of a studio is we're not going to let the pixelated shitty footage go around and make the rounds. Let's just, take the hit.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones who did it themselves. Okay. Because like when you go to Comic-Con, they say we have anti-piracy measures in place. Like, no, they don't. They have dudes who walk around in black suits with night vision goggles. That is literally it. And it's more like a night vision, like monocle or like a telescope sort of thing. Right. Because all they're doing is they're scanning the crowd. They're scanning the crowd for screens, for just the brightness of a screen. That's it.
Really?
Yeah. So back in 2005, and this is a true story. I was in Hall H and they showed us the 300 trailer like months before it was coming out.
Yeah.
And I had my little Sony DV camcorder and I just like angled it up and I shut the screen. So there was no light and I just recorded the trailer, not to put online because I wanted to watch it again. And I wanted to show my friends and like people who couldn't see it.
Yeah. You weren't
like,
malicious.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm never malicious about any of this kind of stuff. It's funny to see how it gets out there and whatever. But, but they were like, I saw other people as I was recording it. Someone else was next to me with their camera out and some dude came over. It's like, you got to turn that down. And I'm all like, looking at me, motherfucker, But again, it's so easy. Just like turn off the screen on your cell phone. There's apps to turn off the screen on your cell phone
while recording.
And it's like the thing, all they look for is a screen on. And that's it. So these things get out there all the time. And they also go to like different, companies will, the trailer company, for example, they might leak it out. Someone in there might get their hands on it or it might get spread around, it's not a big deal, but they have to make it one.
Yeah. That's their job, literally. So, this movie has brought a lot of controversy in the sense of, all right, so we have the Snyder Cut fandom, right? We have the side of it that's in it for the good, right? The side of it that really enjoys the film, really enjoys the universe, really likes Zack Snyder. But we also have the people, and we'll always have anything that's good or anything that draws a crowd, will always bring in the people that are toxic because those people see, oh, look at this. This is getting a lot of attention. I am going to join it, and they start being themselves, and themselves are a toxic personality. And they cause fights, and so are you in a sense, are you guys glad it's kind of over at this point? Like tonight, where the movie comes out, right? So there won't be like this pent up aggravation amongst fans.
Maybe for tonight, to be honest with you, maybe for tonight. Tomorrow, come on.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be like hashtag restore the Snyderverse, motherfucker.
Yeah, it starts all over again.
It starts all over again tonight. Look, to put it in its most brash, very uncouth terminology, tonight everyone can come. You know what I mean? Like everyone gets to finish. We finally, after 4 years nearly of like pent up, not even getting to the edge there, it's like you finally just got to go and be done with it. But then tomorrow you get a good night's sleep, you rehydrate, you drink some Gatorade, maybe a little carbs, and then you go out there and you do it all over again. And that's just how it's going to be for a while, because the thing is, it's like, a lot of the people are going to be attacking the fan base and saying like, oh, if you give a mouse a cookie, which is the stupidest analogy I've ever heard.
Our very dear friend Jody has been using that analogy, and he stole it from somewhere. He probably read that like in a book or something. Probably a children's book.
Come on. You think he reads?
Yeah,
you think he reads? Gee, I thought that was Jody that was hosting this. I really did.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's pretty bad, man. Like, no, it's well, the thing is, based upon what I saw with this clip, the guy who's hosting the stream that Zack came on, he has like Geeks and Gamers in his byline on Twitter, in his bio. And then Zack comes out and is like, oh, we ain't affiliated with Geeks and Gamers. And then like that dude's like, all right, cool. And you're going, wait a minute, dude. Like, aren't you like, cause I remember I was sent, the stream a couple days ago, because they had prepped it up and whatever, and it said like Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic were going to be on there, right? And then there was that article that dropped the other day, that Medium post from the Southern Poverty Law Center. That like, did you read that, where it went through like Geeks and Gamers, The Quartering, Nerdrotic, and went through all these dudes and like basically pointed out how big of pieces of shit that they are, and I'm pretty certain that is something that got back to Zack. And somehow
that's exactly what happened.
For the record, I think you guys took what I said wrong about the Jody thing. I wasn't referring to. Okay, I see.
No,
someone just messaged me. It was like, bro, did you just say that? I was like, what? Say what? I wasn't talking about this here. Oh my God, that looks so bad.
That's what I thought you meant. Like,
no.
We're about to get canceled.
No, that is not what I meant. Please do not spread that.
What did you mean?
It was a joke, as in I thought Jody was hosting tonight. Like it was it wasn't her. I wasn't saying that. No, I would never say that. Come on. Oh my God.
This is where, but the thing is though, someone sent me a DM about the whole, because Geeks and Gamers is doing this response right now. And more or less like the idea of it is like, no, we're not racist. We have a black friend is the idea that they're putting out there.
I have a show with two of them. Two of them.
Them, Ty? My God, man.
Grizzle, just shut up. You're digging your own hole.
All right.
You're gonna.
Well, the thing with Geeks and Gamers, they're very anti-social justice warriors. They're very anti-cancel culture. And going back to your point, I think that probably got back to Zack.
Well, I don't think Zack's against anti-SJW stuff, because a lot of the people that went after him are also kind of, the pro-social cranehead. In Portland, we call them craneheads.
In the current political climate, they tend to be always right, even if they're not right. So, like, you have to be careful. Because, look, I remember that clip Zack released of Steppenwolf fighting
all the women,
and then people like, oh, this is promoting violence against women. I'm like,
that was rough. I was like, how are you getting that from that?
And then some people were complaining. I read one review, the scene where Jason Momoa takes his shirt off and he's like ripped. Zack has an obsession with like patriarchal machismo and men. And I'm like,
wait, Jack, did you actually read this?
Yeah.
He showed it to me. It was a real thing.
So that's just people specifically going to look like that's clearly made up, right? Like that came from imagination land. That's not like Jason Momoa took his shirt off. Of course he did. He's ginormous. Of course he
people actually think that Zack was.
They made it up.
No. That's the problem. That's the problem. Is they actually saw it and they believe it. Us normal people who think normally would say that's made up, right?
Yeah.
They actually watched it and saw that. That's the issue.
There are people in a bubble about this type of stuff who are just looking to get offended. And it really doesn't have to do with offense or not. If you don't like someone or something, you find something to get offended about, you know. And
well,
it started with 300. He likes showing muscular men. You know what? I'm a straight guy. I want my Thor to be ripped. I want my Batman to be ripped. That has nothing to do with sexuality. I just want those characters to be in shape.
You know what? That's
because
funny.
That's what I expect. Robert,
I remember that, Jack. That was the joke after 300, right? The oiled up big buff guys, right? In their capes.
That's how it is in the comic book. They're pretty much naked in the comic book. They barely have any armor.
I've seen people refer to that movie as very homoerotic, and they try to think of any take that they can, and it's like, you know, I saw the movie and I didn't, immediately go like, man, those guys, damn. It's like I watched it and I was all like, man, that was a really fun movie. Like, you know.
Well, I used to get those jokes when I was a kid because I grew up watching like wrestling. So there was the group of guys that all watched like pro wrestling, like The Rock and Stone Cold, and the guys who didn't were like, oh, dude. And I'm going to use a 90s aphorism. They would use the word gay in a negative way. Like, oh, you're watching guys in their underwear wrestle. That means you're gay. And I was like, no, we just like watching wrestling. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're under underwears or they're ripped. You know, like, but again, it's trying to find something to make a problem out of. And we're in kind of an outrage culture right now where like you can make an outrage about everything. Jason Momoa is in shape.
Look at him right there. Look at him.
Thor.
Oh my God.
Wait, I was just about to say,
he has to work to look like that. I give props to him.
Well, there's like the scene in the beginning of the movie where he takes off his sweater and he goes like, he just keeps dropping clothes, which I find to be very weird. But like he drops off his sweater and he goes into the water, and then like that one woman singing like picks it up and she like smells it.
Yeah. Oh, me and Justice laughed so hard about that.
So
that was
here's my problem.
Just be careful. Just be careful. Some of us haven't seen it.
I think we're getting a little bit puritanical about this stuff. Like, women especially get exploited in movies, but
I'm going to fill my coffee, by the way.
If we see attractive men and women, we can't say like, wow, she's sexy. She looks great. I mean, I love to see what the Amazonians, they're ripped. I like that they're in great shape. I like that, if someone's attracted to that, like, should they be
movie
like,
docs, that's my guy.
I don't get it. Like,
well, I mean, I think like,
oh my God, Jason Momoa's hot and the girl smelled his shirt. Why would they do that? Because women want him and men want to be him, and other men want him too.
It's still a little weird. I mean, if it happened vice versa, if it was like me and then like I picked up like Scarlett Johansson's sweater and then smelt it as she went swimming, half naked with no shirt on, I'd be like, that's weird. That's a weird thing to include. No matter who does it,
into, like,
if it smells
sort of
the article
the unwritten, again, this is where equality comes in. Like, if a chick does it, it's not considered weird. If a guy does it, it's kind
I would think
weird.
it was weird.
But like, I think it was a play on the fact that he's so attractive and he's women love him. I've never met a woman who isn't like.
I know a lot of guys that love Khal Drogo. You know what I mean? They're just like, I would let him do to me what he did to Amelia Clark in the pilot episode of Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness!
He just comes over and just starts grunting and motions for you to. All right.
I don't know. I just imagine Aquaman doesn't smell very good, right? Aquaman doesn't smell like the top, brand cologne. It smells like fish. He's underwater.
He's gonna smell. He's gonna smell like the ocean.
He's gonna smell bad.
And to be fair, if it's a high tide, the ocean can smell wonderful, I mean, so it's like if it's a low tide, then he might be smelling a little bit funky down under. But really, it's
I think that
I don't associate Aquaman with a good smell, right? That's not. I don't know.
Well, what I found to be really funny was there's a couple key differences.
There's a joke like that in Aquaman. Doesn't she say he smells? I'm like, dude, he's underwater. Like, wouldn't the smell? Doesn't he like smell his bits?
I don't. Well, I mean, to be fair, sharks can scent blood up to a half mile away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they can. So smells, I guess, and pheromones or liquids or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what humans secrete underwater that's going to make like a half fish, half human hybrid go, oh, you've had garlic. Yeah, I just don't see how that happening. But I don't even know the joke I'm trying to make there. I'm sorry.
I get it.
My point is, like,
I was on the same page.
I feel like, look, the body positivity movement is a very good thing. I think it's about time we've had it, and it's a good thing. But if people are attracted to sexy, whether it's Jason Momoa, whether it's Amber Heard or Gal Gadot, they're allowed to do that.
All right.
And if you want to show Jason Momoa's abs, or I don't care. Like, stop trying to make it into something it's not.
Did anyone bring up the fact that Chris Hemsworth hates to be shirtless in movies?
No, I had no idea that was a thing.
He hates it. He asked to not be, and they keep making him do it in the Marvel movies.
That's hilarious.
Well, you know what's really funny is a friend of mine was his body double.
Sexually harassed. That's hilarious.
Did you guys ever see the Vacation movie that he was in?
No.
Vacation.
It was they remade Vacation with Ed Helms.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So Chris Hemsworth is in it.
Funny.
Yeah, and he's
is. Yeah.
And he's in like his underwear, right? Well, like my buddy was actually his body double for that movie, and my friend is like in his mid 40s by the time that they made this movie. So like that's like my friend got real ripped over the years, but
Listen,
like
I don't know about Chris, but if I had a body like Chris,
movie.
I would be doing this podcast in a Speedo every day. I'd be like, hey.
But the thing is,
Jack,
no.
TY's corner, I'd be flexing my boobs and everything. Those things where they can shake their boob muscles.
No, but the thing is it's different. Like when he spoke about it, he said it's different when the scene calls for it and it's in a tasteful way. But he doesn't want to just like be in the middle of a battle and take his shirt off just so like the Marvel movie can look like that, He's like, I did it. He's like, I did it once for Thor 1, and that was in that one scene where he's changing and it was tasteful and the scene called for it. But then they kept asking him to do it every movie, and he was like, all right, this is getting to be a point where it's like,
it's not tasteful. I like my partial nudity, men or women, whatever.
I would guess specifically in his case, because I've heard the same argument from female actors, and I would imagine it's because it takes away from people noticing their actual skill, right? Chris Hemsworth is a great actor. He does a hell of a show, so he wants to show that. He doesn't want to just be eye candy, right? He wants to be able to show that, hey, I can actually act. I'm not here just because I'm
not just beautiful.
Yeah, like I can actually act, and he would like people to see that. Like I said, I hear a lot of female actresses make the same argument.
Yeah,
like I can act more than
Kevin
ass and jeans.
Kevin Smith uses a Blue Yeti. I have one of those right there.
Oh, there you go.
That's a basic. That's a basic
Jersey boy
there. That's a basic B microphone, baby. But I thought Kevin Smith would have some like rig.
You got a hell of a Funko collection too.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on from this the sexual talk.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's move on from it. It's very distasteful at this point. Anyway,
that was distasteful.
It's getting distasteful. It's putting a bad taste in my mouth. It's getting salty.
It's probably that coffee, man.
That's
Put the salt instead of the sugar. You mixed them up.
Yeah, you know what? I've done that before. It's pretty bad. Have you ever done that? Have you ever put salt in your coffee? It's pretty terrible. It's a bad experience. Yeah, well, I used to be a chef, so I had mason jars full of like flour, salt, sugar, brown sugar, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And wrong one in, sour mouth. Good times. But I can't believe. All right, so you guys got real awkward on me real quick. So let's go around the room. Huh? What'd you say, Justin?
I said I was paying attention. I was looking at I was watching the stream. I'm not awkward. I'm fine.
What is it? Let me share the audio. Where did the audio go? Oh, I turned it off here. That's why. I don't know how to get it back on. There we go.
Driving.
Can you guys hear that?
Man. Yeah. I ain't living in them suck bubbles having conversations under the sea. I know what goes on under the sea. People drown. Just to update you, if you're sitting there going, when can I see a real director? Not this purple wearing hack. Great question, kids. They're still trying to
connect. Kevin's getting old.
Zach
Jeez
and Debbie.
Louise.
Well, Zach and
He's
Debbie
been doing this for a long time.
Do it quite well, but I'm talking about connecting.
He had a heart attack and I think almost died. And
this is what don't happen in the real red carpet.
I did not know that.
Real red carpet.
Oh yeah, that's
why that was scary a couple years ago.
Make sure.
Really?
Yeah,
dude, it's almost weird.
He went to the hospital and they said if you hadn't come, just gone home, you would have died. And after that, he started eating healthy, like all vegetarian, and he just lost a ton of weight.
That's good. That's good. You know what? Now that you mention it, I do recall when he lost a shit ton of weight and he came back a lot healthier. I didn't realize.
Why is that Kevin Smith such a sweetheart? The digital red carpet for Snyder Cut.
He looks good now, though.
Love from India. So excited.
Been doing again, dude. He's been doing this for at least I'd say at least 20 years, right? That's fair.
And what time is it in India? So much
longer than that.
People staying out.
That's your age, right? You were born in 93, right?
Yeah, I was born in 93. So he's been doing it my whole life. 30 years old.
The worst.
I'm 28 years old.
You've ever heard.
He's written quite a bit for DC. I don't know if he's ever written for anybody outside of DC. Has he? Do you guys know?
Says, not gonna lie,
he wrote Marvel. He wrote one of my favorite Daredevil runs. In fact,
Zack
I had
Snyder's
really. Oh, he did.
Yeah, he wrote a pretty good Daredevil.
Blooper reel was fun, man.
I forgot what it was. Shit, I have it in my closet.
On that set.
I don't know what. I don't know the name either, but I know what you're referring to.
But it has that famous shot of Daredevil like crouched on a cross, like on top of
it takes a visionary director to
and like you see the red eyes and
stage where
it's sort of like a famous shot. I had that poster in my room years ago. It got damaged.
Know where everything's.
It's a pretty good run. He did.
As you watch the behind the scenes.
I mean, I would imagine after seeing
calling out like, all right, here comes the
we were talking about that earlier. His ties to religion. So Daredevil's a great character to write for.
Steppenwolf Zack, sorry for cursing. And you see, Jason Momoa on the gimbal kind of tilt and stuff.
I don't know if any of you saw,
but do that when I make a movie.
There was a scene. Well, I don't think it was like a behind-the-scenes thing where Ezra Miller posted a bunch of pictures of himself in Ray Fisher's tent, like his trailer.
Okay.
Zach has
it was on a little bit ago. There was like Ray Fisher like walks into his trailer and there's a bunch of like printed out pictures of Ezra Miller literally everywhere. It was like a little prank. It was pretty funny.
Roman NM.
From two superhero junkies to another. So excited that your vision has been truly realized.
I am a Roman.
Much respect. We'll be watching along with everyone else. # Snyder Cut. The Russo brothers.
Best toast of the year goes back.
Time with your name. That's a big move.
You're doing amazingly, my brother. Live red carpet. # live red carpet. # Snyder Cut.
Sorry, it's kind of hard to hear. The Smith is pretty loud. I can barely hear you guys.
Any minute now.
It's loud.
6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm hearing him at full volume on my end.
New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Yeah, he's a little bit louder this time.
We are 6 minutes.
I can barely hear it, so it's like different for me and different for you.
He said we're 6 minutes away. It's 12 p.m. Eastern.
You're literally going to spend the
yeah, that was the thing. Is like they said. I knew they were going to drop it at 9 p.m. Pacific.
In sconce.
Okay, how is that? Is that better?
Big budget Hollywood.
Yeah, that's fine for me at least. I don't know about you.
I'm sorry about that. For me, I can barely hear it.
I watched the movie.
Like literally.
I could barely hear it earlier. Now it's clearer. I don't know if it's maybe just because he's talking into the mic now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. You're gonna love what you're about to see.
Yeah, wasn't Zach saying that?
Funny story. The only time I have died, laughing, crying in tears, like I could not. You laugh so hard you can't breathe. Was Clerks 2, the donkey scene.
You're not gonna want to leave.
Oh my God!
You guys know what I'm talking about. I could not believe what I was watching. I was on the ground crying like laughing. I was like, oh my God!
5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that song, "Naughty Girls Need Love Too." I was like, holy shit!
So
I took my little sister to see that.
So I paid for 2 people's HBOmax subscriptions. I ran like a little thing on on Twitter, and I said, first it's kind of first come first serve, and it's for people who like because I know truly I do know like what the struggle is like. I mean, you guys know I'm not working right now, and
go to the bathroom.
I'm in a good spot myself, like pretty randomly. I'm just getting by pretty well, even though I'm not working. And so we were able to run a little thing on Twitter, and I said, I know how it is. If you need help and you can't afford HBOmax, let me know, and I'll pay for a month for you. And so I helped 2 people out. I saw one in the comments tonight, and I really do hope they enjoy. That's kind of what we want to do here is allow everyone the experience to see the movie and talk about it and share in the experience. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been along for the ride. This is the last moments that you will not know what is in the Snyder Cut. No more guessing what could have been or what could be. You are gonna officially know. So this is all for all of us and all of you, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
3 minutes, and on the West Coast,
so Kevin just confirmed
3 more hours.
So it is coming out in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I made. That's why I made the little speech.
California.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but
The victory lap.
Yeah.
But he was backing you up. So, oh shit, this is gonna be on 3 minutes. Oh damn.
I seen.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I really do. Like I hope you all enjoy.
But yeah, sorry.
We'll all be able to finally talk about it, which is gonna have a lot of stress off my back. Being
it'll be refreshing.
People taking subtle shots on Twitter because I said the movie's fire.
Still got time. Go to the bathroom.
That was a little bit too much apparently. So I really do hope everyone enjoys it. I got the Jarbo effect. I told you. I said
no.
I know. I didn't. I called
not that I want to own it or nothing like that. But.
That shit's trademarked, baby.
Everyone wants. Fuck. Not just grandma or your parents.
No, but
everyone wants.
I'm happy for everybody, and I really am. I can't wait.
The gospel of the bat.
I was saying it when we first signed on. This is your the I don't count. I'm not one of y'all. Y'all did this. I did nothing. This is your victory lap. If you're at home, give yourself a round of applause, pat on the back, whatever you want to call it. Y'all did it. All the work, all the fight. It's gonna it actually came to something, and you actually succeeded. This is your victory lap. You got about 2 minutes. I say a minute and 30 seconds before all your dreams come true. You guys deserve this. You did it.
And the next fight to be won is
she'll get her own movie.
Restoring the universe.
Right. Starting with the air cut.
That's another one. Restore to release the air cut.
I don't see that happening.
They're already working on it. They're already working on it, brother.
Justice League is so much bigger.
The air cut of the Snyderverse.
The air cut.
The air cut is in the Snyderverse.
Yeah, they already.
No, what I mean is like restoring. I don't. He said I don't see it happening. What did you mean? Like just
doing what they're doing right now. For
James Gunn.
What do you after people see, and this is the thing, Justice. After people see Jared Leto's Joker in this, I'm pretty sure that is going to become a priority. I really do.
A lot of them came back. Oh my God! Look at this cat.
All right,
King of Tech. That only took like 10. Don't trust this guy. I can't even get connected on his internet. The Snyders. How are you?
Now.
There it is. We're losing again. Look at him. He can. Well, he can see us, baby. They can both see us. Kids, if you can't hear us, man, huge congratulations. This is going to be a big night for you. How do you feel? Use your face and your hands to indicate what this moment means to you.
Okay. Oh, now I lost him.
It's the most ridiculous looking thing I've ever seen.
Oh no, he's there. He's on your computer.
If I could speak for the Snyders, this is what. Yeah, they're back. I don't have to speak
for a guy who directs movies. Pretty bad at technology.
Folks who wanted the Snyder cut for so long.
Wait, are we back?
You're about to get what you wanted. Whoa, they're back. Can you hear me, kids?
Yes. Can you hear us?
We can't hear you. I can't hear you. Hopefully, maybe they can hear you. I hear you a little bit. I got you.
A little bit. It might be the going on.
How are you feeling? I hear you now. How are you feeling, kids? A big night for both of you. What's it feel like right now?
It's exciting. I'm frustrated by technology as usual. But very excited. We're it's T-minus. It's happening right now. It's on.
It's starting, man. Let's send everybody over to HBOmax to watch. The Snyder Cut. Zack.
By the way, they just gave it away that they just gave it away that they weren't actually doing that red carpet thing today.
Kids,
the interview that they did earlier together, that was all pre-recorded.
I know it's frustrating.
Oh yeah, that was
Typically they like to play it off like it was like it's happening now, but they're giving it away right now.
To the good folks who pushed for.
Yeah, I thought he teleported into that room.
No, yeah. Because Kevin's wearing the same jacket, so it kind of played itself for a little while.
Really
but
means so much to us personally.
And like I was saying, for a guy who directs films, he's pretty bad at technology.
And we really hope that you love this movie because we've worked really hard, and I hope you can see all the respect that we have for these characters.
Deborah
and it wouldn't
produces,
be here
right?
without you.
That's her name, right? Deborah. I didn't put that up.
Snyder, yeah.
Yeah, she produces, right? She works as executive producer. Yeah, okay.
It's not on HBOmax for me right now.
Yeah, it's not for me either. I think I might have to exit out and try to reload it.
I'm refreshing and everything. It's nothing's happening.
I'm exiting out completely and see.
I can't wait for you to check out the movie because it's coming at you right now.
Let me check mine.
I mean, it could be quite literally right now when he just said that.
That it's 3 a.m. Eastern that it's starting.
There it is. There's your answer.
Yo, I knew it. It was too good to be true.
Wait, what?
No, that's I was trying to throw people off so they can
wait, what the fuck?
I'm sure a bunch of people are like, it's not on you, idiot.
He just said it.
Yes, it starts at
that's so funny.
Midnight on the East Coast.
Are you kidding me?
3 a.m. Not midnight on the.
Wow, that was the most epic fuck up.
We're staying
hey, I will allow swearing at this point. That was the most epic fuck up. Yeah. For this one time, for this 1 10-minute thing, you can say what you want. That was the most royal fuck up on their part.
This is wasn't this when like kind of like when Steve Harvey announced the wrong Miss Universe?
Otherwise, really excited about
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad too.
Or when La La Land won the Oscar.
Yes, yeah, that's gonna fall into that category. No, because you just got all these fans excited, literally. Like, they were literally at the edge of.
If you are a lover of
there's a good reason why the comments are being shown right now.
I mean, like, why are they there? Then?
Look at ready.
They're not gonna stay there for 3 hours.
Look at this. Ready? Look at this. Ready?
Looking for
guys, I'm hitting play. See you on the other side.
I think that.
Fuck me. That's
really Snyder cut.
Yeah, Carlos, that's a good question. Why are they? I mean, I would imagine they're doing this now because he doesn't want to do it at midnight. So I guess it makes sense that he's doing it now.
Well, they should. They should technically do it now.
While everyone's like right here waiting.
Everyone's awake right now. Why not do it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're maybe they're a little bit worried about the technical breakdown from the other night, where just a server crash because like the server crash for WandaVision.
Everyone check Tom and Jerry yet? Maybe.
I think the answer we were all looking for was simply
that's bad though. That's bad.
That's what it is.
Because they like I kind of like what we were talking about earlier, Jarbo, is I figured since it leaked, maybe they were going to drop it a little bit early.
I thought they would have because it leaked out. I thought they would have. And because a lot of people were like, coming to my videos and leaving comments like, oh, I just got done watching it. Way to out yourself there, buddy.
Yeah, right?
What are you doing?
Why do that, man? Why?
I'm like, who makes these? I need to hire these people.
Well, so, all right, guys, we have another 3 hours to kill. What's going on?
And for those that don't know,
how's everyone doing?
I actually have to get to another live stream that I was invited to, so I got to dip out and head over there.
Yeah, but, I'm not going for another 3 hours. That's for sure.
Oh my god!
What are you streaming?
No, it's look. Here's the thing: is it's here, right? It will be here in a few hours.
It is.
People, tomorrow you can finally all realize Sam Benjamin's not in the movie.
He is, but yeah, it takes a keen eye to find him.
Okay. I think I caught a cameo from one of the voice actors. So
yes, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that okay? Because I'm like,
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. I was like, oh, that looks like that's cool, man.
It was.
Okay. Cool. It was yeah. I can go finish watching it then before everyone else.
Yeah, go ahead.
I won't. I still have like 2 hours to go in the movie.
Just make sure you go to HBO Max one day and just let it play in the background.
Oh no, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow on HBO Max too. It's like I'm gonna watch it a bunch on HBO Max. I want them to get their hits.
we're gonna get.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Like we do like
Yep,
QC in the
we're gonna
theater.
get like the Justice's gray version, so it's gonna be like monochromatic and
I want to
gray.
watch that.
For a second, it
So-
sounded like you said Justice's
I have to
gray
watch
version.
every version.
Justice
Yeah,
had his
that's
own
what
version.
I.
Second, I'm
That's
like,
what I
what
thought he
Justice
said.
is?
Can I tell you guys
I
a
heard
really
no
stupid secret?
Of course.
I bought a 55-inch Samsung a month ago
IMAX.
for
I had
this.
to watch that. That was not.
I bought a
didn't
whole
do
new
it.
TV for this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not stupid. That's not
I bought
stupid.
it.
You're excited.
I've been pushing for it since November of 2017, like a lot of other people. So
If you ask Justice, you could ask Justice. He's been in my house. I bought 3 TVs, so we're in this together, man.
yeah, you got it. Except the one I bought is bigger than the one in my living room, and it's specifically for my bedroom.
Yeah, I love it. You know what I did recommend to people is getting a sound bar or a sound home theater to couple with it.
How hard
Yeah.
is it to be
I actually, the headphones I'm using right now are Bose headphones.
Yes.
So like something like that. But you can, I mean, even then, I agree with the sound system. The sound, oh my God, that Junkie XL score is so
It's
good.
Fire.
You don't have to worry about going to
So
work.
there's good stuff in this thing if you are a fan.
In case you get into creative differences.
Definitely.
How
But
well
Matt,
does it
thank
work for
you
guys
so
to
much for joining us.
recommend it
You're
for
always welcome back.
Sorry, for me it's always difficult in like the weekdays with my kids to I work at night too. So I'm glad I was able to make it over tonight.
And you're always welcome back. I know you always pop into Nicotina, so I'll send you the links and you just pop in when you can.
All right, man, I appreciate it. Yeah,
There was what was it that one night that we were up till like 6 a.m. talking just off air?
Yeah, that was fun.
I could talk to you, man. I could talk to you all night.
Yeah, well, you got to hit me up later anyway. So
Yeah.
we got to talk later anyway. But all
For
right, guys.
sure.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on. Happy Snyder Cut Day to everybody.
There it is. Thank you for
I'll see
joining
you guys
us.
later.
You have a
Peace out.
wonderful night. All right.
It's my new favorite gesture ever since that trailer.
What?
Don't go charging the bull.
Oh yeah, this one. This one.
Don't wave the red cape.
Yeah.
He's just on tap.
Olay.
There's a follow up to that, by the way, and that's. But I wrote down a bunch of quotes from the Snyder Cut.
Well, the hard,
So I told Justice that it was like a rough estimate. I literally have 32 pages of notes on the Snyder Cut.
Oh Jesus.
32 pages. I wrote that throughout the movie of just quotes and different parts and different things that came to mind while watching it. 32 pages of just. Wow. Okay. Yep. I'll write that down. It's literally insane. I told Justice, I was like, I think I have like 20 pages of notes. So when he left that, I was like, you know what? I'm interested to see how many actual pages I have went through. I was like, Jesus Christ.
This that's not gonna
Play the movie on all your devices.
Zack is in his house right now, right? That's like his personal theater.
Yeah.
That thing's gorgeous. It's fucking gorgeous.
That's where he was sitting in that exact chair.
Look at that.
When he revealed with his wife, and the next year over there, when he revealed
I realized that
he was doing the Snyder Cut, the same place. He
Like,
turned his
Yeah.
laptop around and
time machine and just go back.
Good, it's beautiful.
That's where he does. Yeah, that's where he does. That's where he does all of his like watch parties and stuff like that.
That's a watch party.
That's
awesome.
that's my end game right there. Is my own private theater.
Same. By the way, folks, our episode 3 of our Snyder Cut documentary dropped, and we actually told some nice, cute stories about Zack and Deb and how they met.
Yeah.
It's in that episode 3. Check it out.
I actually teared up a little bit while making editing that episode about the autumn thing. Just it got to me.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful story because, like, we tend to forget that that was her daughter too. We always talk about Zack, and
you kids are bringing to life.
it was a loss for her too, and she was also working on this movie. She's been working with him going back to 300.
Dark Side.
So sometimes I don't want to say she gets forgotten, but maybe overlooked sometimes. That she also went through some stuff, and 7 other kids went through some stuff.
Yeah.
And as the breadwinner, I mean, he's obviously, the breadwinner of the family, it's all on his shoulders. And I hate to say that,
and then,
you look at how he looked a couple years ago, since Autumn passed, it's taken a toll on him. You see it.
It's like being president.
Yeah.
You know, like the start of people's presidency. Like, I'm pretty sure Joe Biden is going to be dust after he's president because he's already old. You know what I mean? Like, it says it happens to every single president.
Yeah.
You know, when they start their tenure, they look however they look. By the fourth year, they just it's the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And for Zack, you know, any parent that loses a child, it's gonna take a toll on you.
But you know, look at him here. He looks so happy. You can see he's excited.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just so nice to see the two of them sharing this moment. Whether this is the end of it, you know, this is it. Snyder cuts out, move on to the next things, or whether this is the you know a restoration
of something new.
Yeah, it's such a nice thing to see how people connect with, and like how often you think of directors and their families. You know, I don't even know if Spielberg has a family. I think Lucas has kids. You don't think about it, but like with him, like
we're connected to everybody, not just him.
Yeah, we're connected to him, his kids, his wife. You know, it's a big thing. And is that them or us?
Oh, that is Ty.
I don't know.
He's
so
not,
Carlos,
he's
you
not
can
moving.
see me.
Yeah, I
so
can.
Carlos, I can see you. There we go. We're back.
I want to do that.
Okay, no, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Oh, Tyler's gone. It was a great moment last week where Ty disappeared, and I felt like it was my show.
My power.
It was the blackout.
Hearing about the flick.
The power in my house just went on and off, bro. Everything. I'm having like super bad luck lately, man.
So the
You're not like overloading your power, right?
No. It's been super windy where I'm at. Like it's been the wind has been crazy where I live right now, and it keeps messing with things. Like 2 nights ago, actually, Jack and I were on a stream the other night. My power literally just went out. And then
so I was telling him, I said it felt so great. I was like, I'm in charge all by myself.
Yeah.
It was me, ACS, and I forgot who the third person was.
I was there too.
Oh, it was Carlos. It was you, actually. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I'm like, wait, I guess I'm in charge now. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm in charge. I felt so powerful.
Yeah.
No grip, no tie to hold me back. Coming out of the closet, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but ever since that point, ever since the Transformer, because what happened was the Transformer literally blew off the pole. Ever since that happened, the power's been glitchy, and it will be like all of a sudden you'll be watching your show and just boom, 1 second. It's almost like blink and you miss it.
Now, Ty, do you live in Boston? You're a little outside Boston, right?
So Boston is made up of smaller communities, like so picture Boston like the United States, and every state is part of the United States, right? It's all one big thing. Boston's the same way. So Boston's one big thing, but it's made up of smaller communities like Charlestown, Somerville. Then you do have Boston proper, but then you have Dorchester, you have Quincy, like where Justice is. So Boston's weird because it's not just Boston proper. It's
because
how would you explain that?
Something I've noticed. I live in the city of Philadelphia, and when power goes out in the city and the suburbs, city gets priority. Like even where all the rich people live, it will take days for their power to come up. But when you're in the city, they get it back on for you ASAP. I'm like,
oh, absolutely, because that's where everything is
in the city.
Well, my power was.
That's the difference. Is like myself and him. We live in, like, technically it's not Boston, but everything is so close to each other and everything like touches that we might as well be Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's all the same chunk of land.
Yeah, like if I go half a mile this way, I'm in a different town.
Exactly.
And
we're outside of the city.
You know, my power was on. Like, I didn't get my power on till like the stream ended, and then 2 hours later is when I got my power back on because they had to literally get the generator off the ground and do some. I don't know. I'm not an electrician or a power person. I don't know what they did. But we went out. Yeah, we went outside and the thing was literally on the ground. It was crazy.
This past summer, it was warm, but the power went out in the neighborhood like 5 times. That never happened before. Then finally, they put up new poles, new transformers, and all that stuff because it was kind of getting ridiculous. It's like, okay, once during the summer, twice, but like every couple of days, the power would go off for hours on end. And then all the because it's like 100 degrees outside, all the food goes bad very quickly.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I just want to turn my attention not to call anyone out here. But I mean, you didn't to the movie dogs. He's always calling in and he's always engaging, and I don't want to put the comment. I don't want to put the comment back up, but to let us know that. Just know that no matter what, I know lots of suicides are caused because someone thinks they're alone or they don't have anyone around them to talk to. That's never the case. If anyone ever feels alone and they don't have anyone there for them, you find us.
Listen,
and
all I would say is that
and I'll be on Twitter.
I'll be your best friend, right? I am your best friend for all intents and purposes. So,
we're on Twitter.
You're never alone.
Let us know.
Never alone. I know what it's like to be depressed. I know what it's like to deal with. Justice and I both have pasts of our own, and we made this show to gain strength in each other and gain strength in an audience and feel love that's not just one way but both ways. And that's why we like to interact and talk and be a part of the community because we're not alone.
We keep talking about a victory, right? And this is on a more sincere note. We fail to mention the victory that is suicide awareness, right? There's a ridiculous amount of actual dollar bills and attention and awareness and time and effort that went into suicide awareness, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's a victory in itself because it's something that can't be ignored, and it needs the help and it needs the time, and these people need us. So it's a beautiful, really, no matter how you look at this tonight, it's a victory lap. No matter how you look at it, no matter what direction you're coming in, this is a win.
This community has picked
Yeah.
up that torch and like carried it.
I couldn't have said it better. Suicide prevention. I mean, just in Boston alone, I think there's over 27 suicide attempts per day, and that number is staggering. When I went to look that up, that's just in Boston alone, 27 per day. So multiply that by the world, and that's a scary number. And these people, need help, and to know they're not alone. And there's that phone number you can call. You can hit us up on Twitter, or call the phone number. Call the pop culture phone number. I don't care. It's always on. Or I always get a notification that someone's calling. So leave a voicemail, and I'll get back to you.
And connect this to the fan base. People are saying, "Oh, it's a toxic fan base." What other fan bases have done what this one has done without the promise of the Snyder Cut? We just found out we're getting this May, but before that, $500,000. I'm a Star Wars fan. Star Wars fans haven't done anything like that.
No, they just bicker back and forth between each other.
Fans haven't done anything like this.
Tonight,
have Marvel fans? I don't know if done anything. At least they're not that united. Look at what we did, or not we, what they did, what the fans did.
Absolute joy. Go to the bathroom.
Well, before we knew the Snyder Cut was actually coming.
4 hours of an.
There's something, and then you say, "Oh, toxic fans." And Jody says Snyder cult.
To life.
Well, that cult raised $500,000 and help save lives.
HBOmax at 12 a.m. Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern.
Pardon me, guys.
Have a great time, everybody. Thank you.
Still mad at you, Jack. Not you, Jack. Not you, Jack. Other Jack. Yeah. He told me last night.
I just call him Pear. There can only be one Jack.
There it goes. All right. We'll call him Pear. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Is it Pear or
I wake
Pierre?
up out
I'm
of.
not sure.
I wake up out of a dead sleep. I open my phone and I find a Discord message that says Justice is built like a Teletubby. Said, "Are you shitting me?"
Yeah, who is that? Who is the Justice's ugly one? Who is that?
That's Caden.
Oh, that's Caden.
Caden doing me a personal favor with that one. Pear, on the other hand, that was just a dick move. I was so upset by that.
Boy, I don't like that. Making fun of
I think it's hilarious.
The only person who can do an impression of Justice is me.
Yeah.
Drizzle. He said that you look like Morty from Rick and Morty, and I thought that shit was hilarious. I was dying. I was dying. You guys don't check Discord? He did this whole
I keep
list.
getting
He was
these
just
notifications
roasting
all day.
everybody. I always go through it.
As of right now, like these past 2 to 3 weeks have been not. I can't do anything that I normally do. So I've been dealing with so much. But between editing and doing daily shows and taking care of my dog who's still in recovery from a broken leg, people forget that. I have a lot that's going on right now. So that's not usually me though, right? I'm usually very on top of it and very like if you message me, blink of an eye, I'm back. But lately it's not been like that, and I feel bad. But I do want to remind you guys that we do have something coming up on the 31st. We're gonna be live from. The background might change here. Yep, there it is. We're gonna be live from Showcase Cinemas, and we're gonna be because there are other films that are coming out. One of them is Godzilla vs Kong, and we'll be doing a live show from Showcase Cinemas as we partner with the one of the top theaters in the country. We do a live show from Showcase. So the commercial is here. Basically, in layman's terms, this place is awesome. It's the most ridiculous fucking line. Oh my god. That was an improv line from Justice, by the way. That was like the only shot that I ended up using was the improv, basically in layman's terms.
Music.
Layman's terms.
Okay.
Somehow all the footage got deleted, and that's the only thing that was left. How ironic. Oh my god. Actually, I liked it though. I did. I liked it.
I think it's a great commercial. And I think we're pretty much doing the next couple of movies there.
We're gonna have to do all that again. We did a lot. We had a lot of good.
We had
shit.
so much footage, man, and it was all just gone one day, and it was weird.
But in all fairness, this is not the only opportunity we'll get to do this.
No.
Do it again, and we'll get you guys some real. We did a lot of fun shit. We had a lot of good footage that I think you guys would have enjoyed a lot. Yes, I am, Jack. Man, yo, you.
His name is Pear. We call him Pear.
Pear. Sorry, Pear. Pear. I don't even like pears.
Yeah, but yeah. So the partnership. So if anyone remembers the first one we did, it was with Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84. I almost forgot.
Yes.
I almost thought it was the first Wonder Woman, but it was on Christmas Day, and it was for Wonder Woman 84. Unfortunately, that day we weren't able to do it live, but we attempted at it. It was pretty rough, but this time we've been insured by the management there that the live thing was going to be a possibility. Yeah. And then, so we'll be doing it like that for, I believe, don't quote me on this yet, but I believe it'll be Godzilla, Mortal Kombat, and what's the third one?
Whichever releases first,
Black
Widow
up.
or
So the
Shang-Chi.
next 3 movies definitely are guaranteed.
Okay.
Next 3, whatever the next big ones are. I actually tried to contact them. I didn't tell you guys about this because some people were renting theaters to watch the Snyder cut.
Yeah,
I was trying to do that for the longest.
I was like, if I could set
I
that
didn't
up,
know that
it
was
would
a
work out.
possibility.
So some people are doing that, like they're renting a theater, they have their HBO connecting, but you know.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, but like when they gave Justice and I a tour basically of the theater, right? And they took us into the room with the projectors. They're digital now, but they used to be film reels. And because it's not film reels anymore, it's all digital. And I'm talking HDMI cord digital, right? So theoretically, you just plug in your laptop, put HBOmax on your laptop, and project the Snyder Cut. I mean, it's not going to be in a cinematic quality. It's whatever your laptop produces through the HDMI cord. So if there's no, but think about it this way: if there's no internet at that theater, you're going to be doing it off your cell phone, right? Like your hotspot to your computer, through the computer into the projector onto the screen, right? So you can rent out a theater all you want.
Yeah,
it's really dependent on your capabilities at that point, because the theater's not responsible for playing that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
take that all into consideration before you rent a $400 theater.
So is that? Yeah, no, yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was saying, like, I meant when I said, like, oh, I wouldn't even imagine that's possible. It's like, I wouldn't think the theater would let you plug your laptop to their projector. Just because you rent the theater, it doesn't mean you can touch our projectors, right?
No, it does. It does.
So some of them
you can't touch it personally, but
they'll do it for you.
Companies rent out theaters all the time to do like meetings where they project what are those things called when you have like a
presentation
when they display a presentation on the screen, and you have like a catering out and they project that on the screen. You basically just give them whatever you want to play. So you could theoretically give them your laptop and play it, but again, they're not responsible for giving you internet to play HBOmax. And you're gonna really have a hard time with the theater accepting to play their direct competition at this point.
Yeah.
Showcase doesn't even want us saying HBOmax when we talk about them together. So, getting them to play it. Yeah.
Well, it was an idea I had. I thought it'd be kind of cool.
I mean, I was searching high and low. Like at least for me, I don't have a show place or whatever theater company that was. Right. Yeah. I have AMC, and then there are some local ones. Local ones never got back to me. Even though
Where are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, New Jersey. I'm in.
Okay, we're in Jersey.
Yeah, I'm in Hudson County. That's across the river from New York City.
Oh, okay. So you're up north. I go to Wildwood every summer. I'm in Philly, so yeah, not too far.
So yeah, like I was asking a bunch of theaters, and especially the AMC, because it's like a chain. They only relied on like the specific catalog that they had because that is the only films that they could have from the vendors. And like they had Justice League and like whatever.
And that's what you just explained is how I thought it worked. Like I didn't think they would let you just come in and put whatever you want.
And like I was asking. I was talking to staff. I was trying to reach management. I'm gonna be like, literally, just give me the room for 4 hours and 30 minutes. All right, take your money. Let me leave.
I wonder if it would look good. Let's say you have HBOmax, you have Zack Snyder's Justice League. You plug it in with a HDMI cord. Would it look good? Because it's not the same thing as a projector running 4K.
Remember what
projector is still pretty on point. I guess it boils down to the internet situation.
Yeah. Remember our live stream from Showcase in Lowell?
Yeah.
Think about that. There's no internet there. Right.
Yeah.
Most theaters, AMC is different. AMC, they have internet for their Stubs members.
Yeah.
Because I am one of them. I'm a Stubs. When
even if they do, Ty, it's not gonna be like really fast speeds. They'll be like 20 megabytes per second or something.
Yeah, it's not because they're not paying top quality. Because when you're at the theater, you're not really supposed to be on your phone or anything like that. But theaters are adapting to the times now because they want you to basically, the theater is like, all right, well, we have to compete with, these other companies now, right? So they have a bar. They want you to come there an hour early and hang out. So they are kind of adapting, and having internet is going to be a necessity. But that doesn't mean you're gonna be able to run a full stream from the theater, right? That's not. that's not what they're doing. They want you to be able to access the internet and say good things on Twitter about them while you're sitting at the bar waiting for your movie.
Yeah. You know, the perfect analogy that I heard would be now theaters are evolving to be more like amusement parks, and where they're selling the experience. They aren't selling the film. You know what I mean? And hopefully they can streamline it so that it's actually affordable and you're not paying $15 for a small bag of popcorn. That costs like 5 cents to make.
Literally.
Well, I've been saying, we were talking about this, that they need to expand the menu. Put wings on there. Put bar food. Bar food like finger foods. Put more food on there, and then do it in a way where, like, I think some theaters, they'll bring you the food. I was in a movie theater when I saw Tenet. They said, "Okay, we got your order. Sit down. We'll bring your food to you while the movie's going on."
I got one of those.
I try to find one of those here. Like I'd have to drive like an hour just to get one with like table service.
I've known one theater like that, and it was around my whole childhood in the city I grew up in, and then kaput a couple of years ago. But that's exactly what they did. They had a bar type menu, and you would sit down, and they had like these it looked like big long type of hall tables you would see, right? That seat like 20 something fucking people. Right?
Are you talking about Chunkies?
Yeah, Chunkies, exactly. I didn't know.
Chunkies still exists.
Oh well, the one I'm referring to is gone. It's completely
gone. There's the
only one I've ever seen.
There was 2 of them.
Oh, okay. I've only seen the one in Haverhill, and they cut it down. But like I was saying, that's exactly what they do. They got like pizzas and wings and finger foods and stuff like that. And if you lay it out that way, at no point do you have to go up to a counter and get all up in somebody's face to get your food or whatever like that. Somebody just comes near you, hey, what do you want? And then they go get it, come back. You know what I mean? So in a coronavirus sense,
talk to anyone, like, as people say, "Oh, that's distracting." Now you just go on the app. I want hot wings, blue cheese, mild. Put it in your phone.
In the theater that you see in that little commercial thing, that theater that we were literally in that thing, there's an upper deck, right?
Yeah.
And there's like 2 rows in the upper deck, and it's literally on a separate. Your downstairs of the theater is for like the common theater going experience, but upstairs, you go upstairs because you pay more, and you go upstairs, you sit in the upper deck, and that's where they do like the catering. They'll come out to your seat. There's a little button on the seat. There's heat. There's butt warmers in the seats too.
I forgot about that. There is ass cheek warmers.
And then there's a button that you can click, and someone comes out and says, "What do you want?" Yada yada yada. So
maybe you gotta bite the bullet and you do it for everybody, right? Because with Corona being around, you're kind of up against the wall, right? You got to figure this out. You got to do something, and I think that's a great way to take care of it. Is kind of do that. You dial it down a bit, right? You get rid of the ass warmers, but you still do the service. Like Jack said, you get yourself an app. You order your food like that. People will come bring it to you. They'll be masked up, gloved up, the whole nine. It's coronavirus, and they have to adapt.
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
Oh, I was just gonna say that the best thing that I'd see coming out of it, like I said, would be the amusement park experience, and just thinking about it, the movie theaters used to be like a ritual, kind of like a routine kind of ritual where you'd go like once every 2 weeks, once every month or so.
That's how it was with me when I was younger.
Yeah, on Tuesdays get the $5 ticket, matinee, whatever it may be. But if they do transition to this more, well, one, they need the money, and 2, they would need to kind of appeal to this new kind of socially distant society, whether you
live
like it
in
or
a
not.
society.
Yeah. So if they do start selling that kind of combo experience where this is not a watch a movie thing, this is an experience, have an experience kind of thing where you'd go in, and then there could be movies that are produced that are 4 hours long, like Zack Snyder's Justice League. But it's like, okay, so you're gonna pay $45 per person. That's not including food, but we start at 10 a.m. We have an intermission at lunchtime. You have 45 minutes or an hour intermission, and then you come back in. And then
that's how it used to be back in the day.
I'm feeling that. I'm really feeling that.
Back in the 1950s, movies like Quo Vadis, The Robe, Ben-Hur, 10 Commandments, like those biblical movies. You went to the theater. It was an event. People would dress up like they're going to see opera. You would go see a movie, take an intermission, talk about it, have some wine, whatever. And I'm so down for bringing that back. I would love if Avengers Endgame had an intermission. Imagine having an intermission and then talking to people about it, like in the middle of that movie.
I've done it.
Like, dude, what is Thanos going to do? They just killed Thanos. What's going to happen next? Thor's fat. You know, like
it's a great way to build some hype. I mean, me and this one, we're doing it with the Snyder Cut. So I mean, and that's specifically. I mean, we already have that with streaming.
Yeah.
But you just watch it with your friends, and then you pause the movie, and then you guys
and I do think that movies are going to start bringing that back because of that, right? Like what Justice said. Because for instance, when I went and saw Hateful Eight, I saw it at the Somerville Theater. Justice probably would know. The Somerville Theater is literally an old time theater. They do a lot of 70 millimeter. Yada yada. Wooden seats.
It's a nice theater, though.
The full 9, right? They do indie film festivals, yada yada yada. And I saw Hateful Eight there, and they had an intermission, and it was the coolest experience because not only did you get the old school theater vibe, but you got the actual movie ran it the same way. So you got that experience of like what it was like in the 50s when people did dress up to go to movies, and it used to be an event, and now it's more of a hobby. Right, I go to the movies 3 times a week when I can, and you know, it's. I think in order for theaters to survive, they're going to have to adapt every couple years at this point, because streaming services are not slowing down.
No, they're not going anywhere. You're stuck with them. They're not going anywhere. That's why I was laughing. By the way, what Wes just said.
Is that Wes? Is that Wes?
No, I don't think
West
so.
Boom.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I really don't care when it gets released. I've already seen the movie 3 times. So,
I saw it once.
I saw it.
I have not.
I want to tell you guys. I just don't want to admit
Let's
it.
just ruin it for Carlos. Just tell him all
No. I didn't close the tab. All right. So here's a story.
Yeah.
Listen
to this.
They gave us access to the theater, and I have pictures of the day. I sent them pictures because we had already seen it together. I wasn't like spreading pictures around the internet. I sent it to them with my watch, so it had the date on it. And I was like, "Guess what I'm watching?" And they were like, "What?" I was like, "Zack Snyder's Justice League." I never closed the tab of the premiere, and I never shut my computer off. I come back the next day. The movie's still playing on loop. So I pretty much closed it. I said, you know what? I'm done watching this for the 3rd time. I closed the tab, shut my computer off, and then obviously I tried to log in again, and it was like access denied.
So like you stepped away, you mean, and it played? It just started playing?
No. I went to sleep that night that we watched it on Saturday, but I never closed my computer tab. So the tab
it was just playing and starting over again.
It was just playing and starting over.
There was no controls to it. You couldn't be like
no. I could pause it
and whatnot. Yeah.
I'm just saying I never hit the red X on the top right.
Exited the thing.
I never exited it, and it never kicked me out.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm confused about.
Can I tell my story? So I get home from work, I sit down, and I open my Microsoft, my Pop Culture Corner email, and I just have it sitting there, and I keep refreshing it. All of a sudden, I see it. I'm like, oh, great.
Well, now you are the Wes. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. Well, my sister's riding horses. My mom's at work. I'm like, Dad, you want to watch this movie with me? I want to watch it with someone. He's like, all right. Now, he's 70 years old. Every time he sits on my bed to watch a movie, he falls asleep. So I start the movie, and all of a sudden, Justice calls me. He's like, yeah, just don't start yet. Just give us a few minutes. I'm like, all right, cool, Dad. We're going to wait. We're just going to wait a few minutes because we want to watch it together. And
it was like 50 minutes.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by. I'm like, what the hell? My dad's like getting impatient. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, Jack, you're probably way ahead of us. I'm like, no, I rewound it to the beginning to watch it.
Sorry.
But see, there is a God, because then these guys were like, we're having technical issues. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what you get for making me wait. You know how bad it is to watch the first 3 minutes of this movie and then stop and rewind and then wait.
Yeah,
wait.
No, do you know what it's like?
Waiting.
Do you know what it's like?
Feeling is like? I do.
Do you know what it's like to try to log in 4 different times and then have it say you have lost access to Zack Snyder's Justice League? Because that's what I dealt with. I lost my access because it didn't work for iPhones or Apple at all, and I kept trying to log in because Justice's phone is like a 1994 Android.
Oh, is it? No, you know why he didn't use my phone? Because he's a fucking idiot. I told him like 4 times, dude, stop trying to log in. Just
I gotta thank my friend George.
That's
George
that
is
iPhone.
Is our company accountant, right? He got me into South Korean dramas, and there's one app for South Korean dramas called Viki. And because of that goddamn app, I bought a Roku stick because everything else is on the PlayStation Network or the Samsung.
I should have used Roku.
And by pure happenstance, I have a Roku, which I don't even use anymore. It's like downstairs, and I'm like, oh, I have Roku, and they have like the Warner Media app. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. And I'm like, great, thank God for South Korean dramas.
Yeah, can we backtrack for a second? You said you watch South Korean
Dude, they are so good.
Really?
So freaking good. I was like, yeah, because you ever like watch too much stuff, you have nothing to watch. So my friend George is like, oh, Jack, check out South Korean dramas. I'm like, all right, whatever. I started watching it. I could not stop watching it. I'm like, good.
I'm turning the show over to Carlos because I have to take a pee. Okay, Carlos, you're the lead.
Yeah, whatever time. Bye.
You're the lead, bro.
It's my.
Hey, by the way, tell your dad.
Was that on purpose?
Oh, by the way, so to finish my story, my dad always falls asleep during movies. He fell asleep during Infinity War, and when he woke up, he's like, "Why is everyone dying?"
I don't know why I put myself out.
He just woke up. He's like, "Everyone's dying," like Infinity War. Then Avengers Endgame, he fell asleep until the last battle. For 4 hours, my father did not fall asleep. He was engaged, and he's not like a comic book fan. He read them in the 1960s when they were all like the Adam West crap. But he was like, wow, this is a good movie. He was surprised, because he had seen Justice League. He didn't like BVS. He was just like, oh, stupid. Batman would lose to Superman. Superman would kill him in 2 seconds. That's my dad. But he was engaged.
Killing it with the impressions lately.
Yeah,
he's killing it.
So like he actually loved it. And the next day, I'm trying to do something else. He wouldn't shut up about it. He's like, "That movie was so good."
Interesting.
I was like, yes, thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. I'm trying to do something here.
I mean, dude, that's a great. That's a great. He said the other day that I'm like a solid viewpoint as like a general audience member. I'm not like even a little bit. Your father, though, that's a great general audience member. That's somebody who doesn't give a shit about superheroes.
Getting into Infinity War, I made him rewatch everything with me, and he still doesn't. Like he's the type of guy. He watches it once, and he forgets it, or he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And so one time I was like, "Dad, you want to watch movies?" He's like, "Please, no more Marvel movies. Please, no more Marvel movies." And then I told him the whole story about. So remember that first trailer, that Hallelujah trailer that came out during DC fandom?
Yeah.
So before he watched the trailer, I said, "Dad, do you remember that movie where Superman comes back and he had died?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "This is what happened with the director, his daughter, blah blah blah." I explained this to him.
Yeah. Okay.
After the trailer is over, my dad's like, "Is Robert Downey Jr. going to be back in this one?" I'm like, he wasn't trying to be funny. He's like, "Is Robert Downey going to be back in this one?" I'm like,
yeah.
My mom confused Jason Momoa for Chris Hemsworth, and it was like, oh, why is Aquaman with the Hulk? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Look, I don't even blame her for that at all. I really don't. They're basically the same person, right? Momoa got tattoos and his hair is only kind of blonde, right? I don't blame her for that.
Listen, it's worse with me because my dad's first language growing up was English, so his English is amazing. He went to British schools. My mom's second language was English, so she confuses things so much. I got to tell you guys a quick story, not related. So during the 2009 World Series, the Phillies were playing the Yankees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all she heard about, we got to beat the Yankees, got to beat the Yankees, got to beat the Yankees. She doesn't know what the Yankees are, just that they're a baseball team. Years later, we're watching the movie Gettysburg, and it's about the North versus the South. And the Southern's like, the damn Yankees is over there. We got to stop them Yankees. They're right over there. And Mom's like, so is that New York on the other side? I'm like, oh, Mom, there's New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. Yeah, but that's New York. And it took me a while to realize she thought Yankees had something to do with New York because of the freaking World Series in 2009. So she thought that the Yankees were like New York. I'm like, no, Mom, that's. But like to a foreign person, that makes sense. Like to us, it's like, no, Yankees.
No, I can understand that. I can understand that.
I completely understand that. Absolutely, I 100% understand that. American dialogue in English and everything we do.
Very difficult.
Yeah, according to, I don't know. I was born here. I speak nothing but American English. But according to everybody else around us, we sound like a bunch of idiots. So I can't
We have
really
the most
dispute
words
it,
of any language. We have the most words of any language.
We have so many unnecessary words, and then we have like compound words. It's absurd. The English language. I don't blame anybody for struggling with the English language at all.
My mom was a hoot though. Like, you know, she refers to the Justice League as the Hallelujah movie because she thinks that the Hallelujah song is a religious song. So she just refers to, oh, that Hallelujah movie. Oh, I'll tell you a story. So she was at a garage sale.
Yeah, a lot of stories, Jack.
And she saw this. This was the Justice League, and she bought this for me. And she's telling the people, like, oh, that's that Hallelujah movie, the Hallelujah movie. And they're like, what? The movie with Hallelujah. And they were like, what is wrong with it? What the hell is it? But she's thinking about that trailer, which I'm always watching. Like, Hallelujah. And they thought she was like crazy or something. And I was like, no, that's no. She meant the Justice League trailer and the Snyder.
Let me see
cut.
That's New 52 Justice League.
I guess I don't know. She found it somewhere and then she bought it for me.
That's New 52.
And she watched it and she kept saying, "Oh, Hallelujah, Hallelujah!" And I'm like, you know.
That's New 52 is like really slept on. I think New 52 and Rebirth I think are really good. Those are like DC reboots.
The Shazam and New 52. That's when they use in the movie, like the kind of new origin story. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Everything you've seen of late is a combination of New 52 for the most part, because that was the one that kind of stuck, right?
Yeah.
Like they've done a million reboots.
Fixed a bunch of stuff. Like in New 52, Barbara Gordon is James Gordon's biological daughter.
Yes.
Like in the past, it was like his adopted niece.
Was she?
She wasn't his daughter. So
really,
like,
I thought Schumacher
daughter,
made
but
that
not
up.
biologically. That's not his, like, through his wife. Like they had this weird thing where like it was his, I don't know, like his brother's sister's kid or whatever, and he adopts her into the family and she becomes his daughter. So like she's his daughter, but not biologically. And then they were like, why are we making this so complicated? It's his daughter. Whatever. I'm like,
Didn't Schumacher, he made it so it was Barbara was
Alfred's his niece.
Yeah, Alfred. Yeah. So maybe that does
from
have
England, and she sounds American. It's like, okay.
We're talking about characters that have been around for so long that there's a million different iterations, you know.
Yeah,
and
do you know the original Superman couldn't fly?
I did not know that. No.
He used to leap tall, but he could jump really high, kind of like the Hulk. Like he could just jump high. And at some point, like, why don't we just make him fly? And then in the original comics, I think Alfred was like some dude who followed Batman and was obsessed with him. Like he wasn't even, his name was Alfred something else, not Pennyworth. And at some point, they're like, all right, let's just make him his butler, Alfred Pennyworth.
Interesting. You know,
I didn't know any of that stuff, man.
There's so many different iterations. Like I get it, right? I hear a lot of people say, like, I've heard a lot of people say, like, Zack just made up where, like, the way he makes these characters act, like they're not actually from comics, they don't come from it. They do. The way all those characters
that royally pissed me.
When the way they behave, I know where he's getting his inspiration from, like comic book wise. I know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I just don't like those iterations of characters.
Yeah,
I never have.
That's fair.
You know, I never have. I like New 52. I like New 52 a lot. I just said it a million times. But that's my preferred, and that's why I'm such a big fan of their recent animation going on that they got going on, the movies, and well, it's really just movies at this point, but it's really good, and that's why, because the New 52 kind of way the characters behave and whatnot.
Yeah. There's a lot of New 52 stuff in the Wonder Woman movie, like the scene where like she's walking with her sword in public and she tries ice cream and stuff like that. I think that's in the Justice League New 52 comic. I'm like, okay, so that's where they got that from.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, oh, you're a wonderful person. You know, you're so. What she's like, you're so gifted for making this. You know.
Yeah, you should be very proud of your work.
Very proud. Yeah.
yeah. She's all hyped up. Yeah, that's my point is. So you guys are familiar. You know what I'm talking about. That's what I like. I expect these characters to act like. You know, that's what I've known them to act.
Listen, here's a question. What are some of your best theater experiences? like in terms of like with
Theater?
the crowd and everything. Yeah, in a theater.
Captain America: Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
In IMAX.
Go ahead. I gotta think about that.
I actually never watched anything in IMAX. I've never been to an IMAX theater.
Oh my God.
So I got two.
Really?
I got two. The Dark Knight in 2008. There was a lot of hype.
Such a good movie.
Moments where the crowd would just react, like, like when Jim Gordon came back, he's like, "We got you!" Everyone started cheering. That was good. And then Infinity War, more so than Endgame. Like Endgame, that last sequence, everyone was going nuts. But
for me,
anytime someone showed up, everyone just started cheering.
So one of the greatest disappointments and failures of my life is not seeing Infinity War. I saw Endgame. I didn't see Infinity War, and that breaks my heart. But as far as like crowd
goes,
you mean in
theaters or like
in theaters? In theaters.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I've seen it in theaters. In theaters. I didn't see Infinity War in theaters because I'm an idiot basically. So it has to be Endgame. Like if we're taking like crowds into consideration, because the second Godzilla.
I remember where you were, why you didn't see it.
yeah. So Godzilla, what is it? King of the Monsters, right? As just for like a viewing, just seeing it in the theaters was awesome. It looked beautiful. It sounded great. I had a lot of fun with that one, but like the crowd wasn't like into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Let me ask this:
like,
be honest, all of you in the comments, who cried, not teared up, cried when Iron Man died?
Oh, not when Iron Man died.
No, I did not. I did not. No, I'm actually pretty emotional. I did not cry.
That one like got me. Like I was like I crying. And then the kid next to my mom was crying. She was like giving him tissues, like, please take care of yourself.
In Infinity War, when Tom Holland dissipates and when they're all disappearing, that got me. And then
that got me.
Pretty much the whole ending of Endgame.
Yeah,
I had a tear in my eye just because of like it not because of the movie, but because of the experience of being with these films since the beginning and seeing it all culminate and finally hearing Cap finally fully say Avengers Assemble, and then when he grabbed the hammer and just all the whole sequence.
So what you're saying is I'm the only bitch here, because when he actually said I am, and you see him dying,
I don't use that word.
Was like, oh my God, like it was like the whole theater was like in tears. Like,
I don't use that word unless I really mean it. So no.
Tom Holland. I was gonna say he beat me to it. Tom Holland got to me really bad. I was like really upset when Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I was like, oh no, that was bad.
I feel like I have a heart of stone because I
I was sad, but I didn't cry because I knew they were gonna come back.
But Carlos,
when Tony Stark died, I was like, dude, you know he's done. Like,
but Carlos, you're only what, like 19?
Yeah.
So
when those movies came out, then I was like,
yeah, you probably weren't going to the theater. Well, must have been longer than that. It was 10 years. So you were 9 when it started.
Yeah. So I didn't watch any of the original, like Phase 1, except for maybe the Avengers. I didn't watch in theaters. I didn't like. I never watched Iron Man. I never fully watched Iron Man 2 to this day.
You ain't missing nothing. Missing nothing.
It's the same goes with Iron Man 3.
You also ain't missing nothing.
so I haven't built up that like that Tony love. I do like him, but like
my dad took the family. I was 19 years old, and my dad back then, your parents bought the tickets. We went to see I'm in the same theater. Coincidentally, that wasn't planned. We saw the first Iron Man, and then halfway through the movie, my dad's like, "Is that Robert Downey Jr.?" I'm like, "Yes, Dad." He's like, "They must have paid him a lot of money to keep him off drugs," and I didn't know what he was talking about because I didn't know all that backstory. But so it was emotional. Now I dressed my parents up, like, put this shirt on. We're going out to see Infinity War and Endgame. So when I saw Tony Stark die, because you knew that they were leaving the franchise, so it's not like, oh, he'll be back in the next movie. It was like, that's it, he's done. That was emotional because that was 10 years of my life, 11 years of my life.
So like even back then I wasn't a good movie goer, man. Like my family would pay for like a ticket, like, oh, let's go watch 007 Skyfall, and I'm like, sure, let's do it. And then it's like I meet like 20 minutes into the movie, I'm just like, oh, okay, and it feels like I'm blinking, and then I just open my eyes again. It's the final scene.
Yeah.
So
the first Spider-Man. Did you guys ever see that in theater? The Tobey Maguire one.
Oh,
I wasn't a fan though.
I was like 6 when that shit came out.
I was about 12 when that came out, but 9/11 had just happened. So you know at that part where he like swings towards the American flag, the whole theater just started cheering because it was like, you know, like it was a few months after 9/11.
Yeah.
I was a few months old then. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything.
But
you don't remember 9/11? Is that, how old are you?
19. He was just born.
Yeah, I'm 19. So in 9/11, I was
5 months old.
Less than 2 weeks old.
What?
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, I was
crazy.
When 9/11 happened,
I was born August 30th.
Yeah, when 9/11 happened, I lived when I grew up in Billerica. Hanscom Air Force Base is but 2 miles from where I grew up, and we were in elementary school and my elementary school was right across the street from my house. When 9/11 happened, we were so close to New York that Hanscom Air Force Base were some of the first jets that responded, and they made us get under our desks, like in fetal position.
Right.
It's like they don't call it fetal, they call it survival position at that point.
Mhm.
But that was a real day. That was a day when I realized that I wasn't invincible.
Yeah,
it was scary.
exactly.
It was scary.
And I feel bad for you, Carlos, because you've heard the phrase post 9/11.
Right. Yeah. It's
you
always
don't know what
been
it's
that for
like
me.
to live before that. No one thought about terrorism or
I
buildings
always,
blowing up or anything like that. It's weird when you think about it. But look, when I was a kid before 9/11, the worst thing that ever happened to this country
was
is
the
that Bill
bombing.
Clinton got his dick sucked.
Oh, I was
That
gonna
was
say
huge. Like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
Like what a national, like that was huge news. 24 hours a day.
What a
The
national
president he got a
tragedy.
blowjob. Where's America going? And after 9/11, it was like, really, that's what we were
Yeah.
upset about. That's
Literally after 9/11, the country was singing Creed together.
yeah.
I swear to God, with arms wide open. It was crazy. It was crazy, dude.
Yeah. So I was born then. And
What song was that? Was that?
With arms wide open.
You're just so
Creed?
awful. I couldn't recognize the song.
I said
terrible.
Creed, and then I said with arms wide open. So you should have just put that
Oh,
together.
you might have thought you meant the boxing thing, Creed.
Right. No, but
you just suck at singing.
I don't pretend to be one. I was just saying. I was giving an example. There was literally Jammin' 94.5 is a radio station in Boston, and they encouraged everybody to sing along, and they remixed with arms wide open to be like an American song, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah,
But before that, like we never thought like there was like the Timothy McVeigh thing that happened. But like that was an isolated incident, like with this,
I don't know who you're talking about.
yeah, the Oklahoma City bombing. No one even talks about that anymore because there's nothing compared to what happened on 9/11. But like before then, like we weren't thinking about terrorism.
What happened?
Like
but guess what happened right before Oklahoma City was Waco. Waco, Texas, and that was a wake up call for a lot of people as well.
When I was in grade school, the big thing that happened was Columbine.
That was
like the first real mass shooting.
Yeah.
And we'd had, but like now it's sad to say it happens like almost every other day. But like at the time that was a huge deal. Like kids, they went on the internet, bought guns, and shot up the school, and everyone reacted the worst way. They were blaming, it's the Matrix fault. They were wearing trench coats like Keanu does. Oh, it's Marilyn Manson's fault. It's
Eminem's fault. Oh my God, we said it at the same time. Everyone always blames Eminem for everything, by the way. Anything that happens, like, I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing.
Do you remember Doom?
Yeah.
Doom.
Yeah.
GTA.
That was a first person shooter. Like, these kids. No one was talking about bullying back then. You know, like those kids, I'm not trying to justify what they did, but they were bullied so bad. They were like, fuck this. We're going to shoot the school up. Like, no one was saying bullying. They were blaming the movies, the music, the television. They were blaming everything under the sun.
That's why Mark Pellegrino does what he does. Because Mark Pellegrino is a real anti-bully person. And he's part of and he plays Lucifer on Supernatural, or he played Lucifer on Supernatural. Yeah. And he told me about an upcoming project that he has that's going to be really good.
Okay.
I can't say what it is without, but when I had him on a couple weeks ago, he told me, and I was like, oh, that's going to be awesome. And like he was in 13 Reasons Why, and 13 Reasons Why tackled a lot of
I got a poster of that right here.
Yeah, it has a
shit on, but
say
like,
what
that was a good
say what say what you want about 13 Reasons Why, but it tackled a lot of real things. Whether it was rape, school shootings, bullying, and that's why he was so attached to the project, and that's why he's doing what he's doing next. And bullying is a real problem.
Yeah, and let's separate bullying from people like picking on each other. Like, there's a difference. Like,
there's a difference between me calling you an idiot here, but me.
I'm offended.
Yes.
Or when I did the impression of Justin, and then when I didn't know, or Justice, and when Justice said he saw it, I felt really bad. I'm like, oh man, he wasn't supposed to see that. But like,
and he saw it on
after 9/11. I went to a Catholic prep school, and these are 99.9% white kids. There were jokes made, and I did not put up well with it. I actually punched a couple of kids. That stopped it.
Good.
But what I'm saying is, like, mob mentality happens, and then people tend to like jump in on that. And
I'm not even going to touch that.
No, see. So when people
don't even touch that.
I think the show kind of showed an ugly side, because what's so interesting in the show, the parents were like, "Wait, this is what's happening in our schools." It's like, yeah, this is exactly what's happening in schools. And kids who are on the football team, they get a certain pass because they make the school look good. Let's sweep this under the rug. It happens a lot, and I thought that at least that first season was really good.
First season was really
over
good.
Dramatized, but still a very good show.
You know, like when I don't know if it's my area or if it's my upbringing or a combination of like a lot of things, but when I saw like 13 Reasons Why or any things that are kind of attacking those poignant issues facing young people and stuff like that, it never really got to me because I didn't experience that stuff. Nor did I know people who did actively, and being actually living through it and not like having the benefit of like 2020 hindsight, where if you're if you graduated 10 years ago, you had potentially 10 years of staying friends with people that you had, and also 2, you learning things that happened in school when you were ignorant of it. Like I just graduated.
I kind of thank God. I went to an all boys high school. In hindsight, I'm like, thank God, because I feel like when girls in the mix, men get even more vicious. I had some bullying my freshman year. After that, I was fine. But I heard stories about other kids. So I don't even want to share those stories, stuff that happened to them. And you're like, that happened at our school?
Yeah.
Just horrible, horrible things done by kids. You would think like, oh, that guy's cool. There was this one kid, I was like, he was a big bully, but he was nice to me for whatever reason. I heard some of the stories he did. I'm like, nah, he did that? And it's just hard to believe. But like, Carlos, you're younger. We didn't really have social media when I was in high school. There was MySpace maybe. But like when you were done school, no one knew what the hell you were doing from like 3 p.m. till the next morning. Now, because of social media, people will go and find you. They will bully you, harass you. And to me, that's scary.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I was just
insulated
never,
from that. That's great.
Yeah. I was just like never into that. Like our school was very small. So that's number one. Like number 2, it huh?
You went to art school?
No. It was. I said it was small. So like you actually had to take a test to get in.
Okay. I thought you said art school.
No. And we didn't even have like
a
lot.
Would have failed the test at school.
A lot of the extracurricular activities, like having sports and stuff like that, we didn't even have that. We had to go to our home school, which is the school that we geographically live closest to. Like one of the other public schools. So I was insulated from that. So when I do see stuff like that, it really does it kind of hits me, but not in the way that it might hit other people. And sometimes I feel bad about that. I'm like, is there something wrong with me because I don't have that emotional connection?
I'll bring it back to what Jack said earlier, right? I think Jack said it. I'm not sure who said it. But when something gets big enough, it's bound that toxic people will be involved. right? If something gets so public school is literally just kids from the neighborhood, from that area. That's it. That there's no qualifications, there's no background check, there's nothing. It's just some kids put together, and there's a lot. Like where I come from, it's not even that big of a town, and there was thousands of kids in my high school. Thousands. Of course, you're gonna get some bad eggs in that number, right? Of course, it's public school.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's why rich people don't let their kids go to public school.
Like, people will say, "Oh, they're toxic." Well, you're talking about a small group of people, but look what good the overall movement did. Did so much good, and and tonight, we're talking about the Snyder Cut and why it's more than just a movie; it's a movement. And when I hear certain critics say toxic fans, I'm like, no, man, that you're focusing on that small percent that did bad things. And if we see, like the four of us, if we see those bad guys, we call them out. You were like, nope, that's not what we're about. We just want to see a movie restored,
Exactly.
Yeah, and just bringing it back full circle, talking about the Snyder Cut and stuff like that. 2 hours away. I'm super excited because I haven't watched a darn thing. I mean,
I'll tell you.
I actually do.
I'll tell you this.
I have some virtual classes. Go ahead.
I'll tell you this. Each and every person that has put, whether it's money, time, sweat, blood, for God's sakes, if you've put any ounce of energy into this movement and you're excited and this means something to you, I've been saying it for a while that the Snyder Cut isn't just a film for most people. It's something else, right? To quote the Arrowverse, it's something more. It's something else at this point. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's more than a movie. It's a part of life, and it's a way of life. For some people, it's been a part of their lives for almost 5 years. That's a long time to build expectations. People thought your expectations were high for WandaVision. You built that in a month. Put 4.5 years on top of that, and that's what the Snyder Cut is for most people. You are going to smile ear to ear for 4.5 hours because I did it 3 different times, and every time the smile grew wider and wider and wider. You find this movie doesn't let you down at any point. At any point, it does not let you down. Some people say, Jarbo, maybe Justice, say some scenes were drawn out a little bit too long. I felt the opposite. I could go longer.
That's how I felt. I just wanted him to have his piece, but I didn't feel
that
way.
Like looking at a museum.
That we were taking our time. He's not like, let's get to the action. No, let's tell this story. What's happening in this moment, whether it's Themyscira or whatever. Let's focus on this scene. Let's not just, I'll put it to you this way. Like Infinity War, I love Infinity War, but it's so much happening one after another. And this movie's the opposite. You have a lot of stuff happening, but we're going to take our time. We're going to take our time. We're going to build towards it. And when it does happen, when certain moments do happen, they feel rewarding. It's not like, I just wasted 3 hours to get to this moment or 2 hours to get to this moment. And it worked. Ty, do you think this would have worked as a TV show? Remember when I don't know if it would have worked as well.
No, I can't. I don't know how they would have done it. Looking in at it, I don't know where they would have stopped. Right? Because that would have been the trickiest part. And I that's why I'm kind of looking back at it and thinking it was never going to be a series.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
It was always meant to be a film. That's just how he pitched it. And then it ended up going his way, right? As long as it was green lit, then he could kind of work his way into it, and then kind of, it's like asking for forgiveness rather than permission. Because I don't see this working as a series. Justice League 2 and 3, if those get greenlit, I guarantee those will be series.
And he can write them and direct them as a series.
Exactly.
Well, Justice, what do you think? Do you think that would have worked? What we've seen would have worked as a TV show?
Am I unmuted? Am I unmuted now? Yeah. No, I don't see that working either. I don't.
Yeah.
First of all, there's more parts than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah.
So no, and he's right. I don't see any point where it could be ended either, and that it would make sense in a series kind of format because it wasn't shot in that manner. It wasn't written in that manner. It's clearly meant to be a film. He's right. So again, it's basically what he just said. If they go forward with this, then maybe he can write it in a series kind of format, but this is not in that format at all.
And if he does move forward, I'd love to see him work with Chris Terrio. Have you guys ever seen Argo? That was
yeah.
Chris Terrio won his Oscar for Argo. That's a great movie. He's a really good scriptwriter, and I would love to see Zack and Chris continue to work. And then I would like to see how Zack's never done a TV show. I would like to see how he would
so weird. Dude, it'd be so weird to see Justice League in a TV show format, with him running it, because he's never done a show, and Justice League as the show seems so. Yeah, but it's that was a cartoon when we were kids. I'm just saying it seems so different.
Picture that.
Well, those were episodic.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
in that each episode had like a distinct beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
But this, I haven't watched the Snyder Cut. But this, I feel like the each part is too intertied with the other. That
But there's no doubt.
It'd be interesting to see.
If they do Justice League 2, it would have to be what Zack imagined.
All right, I got
revamped.
I got a good question.
Because you have to put Shazam in there. I would like to see some of the Birds of Prey in there.
Oh, I want that.
Figure that out a little bit.
I said that. I said this on another stream. Where I think the best thing that could happen is that Zack finds a way to incorporate all of the kind of spin-off characters back into his universe, because at least we do know that at least in the former outdated storyboards that they were planning to unite more heroes and unite the world, basically.
Yeah.
So Blue Beetle in there. Zack
has a way of doing characters, Carlos. So let's say Amber Heard. I completely forgot all the stuff she did to Johnny Depp, because the way Zack did her, I was like, "You go, girl!" Like, as dated as that sounds, like she was great.
She was great.
She was great. It was like it wasn't the same dialogue. None of the same dialogue that we saw in Justice League. She was written differently. She was acting differently. She had a different accent.
She was more thug-like.
Yeah,
I was like, I literally wrote my notebook, Mera, a G? Question mark.
Yeah, I was like, screw Johnny Depp. No, I didn't say that. But my point was he writes characters differently, and Wonder Woman in this was so much better than 1984. And I out of these guys, I enjoyed 1984 for whatever reason.
I hate it.
The opening scene of Zack Snyder's Justice League and the Themyscira part is better than 84 ever could be.
Oh yeah,
but how?
The same ballpark.
I'm going to go around the table counterclockwise for myself. How long before we do get an announcement for the continuation of the Snyderverse? How long do you think it will take? Because all right, so if we remember Wonder Woman 84, within 48 hours, it got an announcement. So how long would it take possibly for the Snyderverse to get an announcement, maybe continuation or some sort of project that might be in the works, whether it's like a Batman on HBO, whatever? How long?
So you said counterclockwise, so I'll go first.
I like Tessa's here.
I say I would love for it to be next day, 2 days later, kind of like the same time frame as Wonder Woman 1984 to Wonder Woman 3. I will give WB the benefit of the doubt because they have to get their bearings and stuff like that. And I don't know necessarily who would announce it, whether that be Warner Media or like HBOmax announcing, HBOmax original, the Snyderverse continues, or like continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I don't know exactly who, but I give them 1 week. After 1 week, I'd be pretty mad if they didn't say anything. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Justice?
They're not. They won't tell us. So
they'll never tell us, and they'll just drop it.
No. I don't think. I'm still not convinced whether or not they're even willing to go forward with this. I'm not convinced that it's enough. I don't think the number. I have no idea what the numbers are. It hasn't come out yet. But I'm not convinced they're even willing to go forward with this. That being said, if they do, I don't see us getting any kind of confirmation or announcement for quite some time. I think they'll leave us up to dry for a minimum of 2 to 3 months before they say a word about it, before they even mention it.
Okay.
All right. So
they do it.
So I'm going to look at this purely as a capitalist. They know the Snyder fans are going to watch it. They know the DCU fans. They're going to want to see how many non-fans are going to watch this movie. And based on those analytics, then someone at AT&T or Warner Media is going to talk. Warner Media owns Warner Brothers Pictures. Am I correct?
Yes, they're the higher up.
They're going to have those back and forth. And then they got to make sure Zack's available because Zack is willing to move on from this.
Yeah.
He's made his peace. He's willing to move on for this. There'll have to be discussions with Zack, then Ben and Gal and Jason and Ray and all them. So they may want to do this next week, but they will hold off on an announcement, I think, at least a month or two. Then that's me being very positive. It's not that they'll want to do it, but they have to get everyone back together. Hey, Zack, listen, we want to have Black Siren in it. Or not Black, Canary.
Black
we want to have
Canary,
Canary. We want to have Harley Quinn. We want to maybe have Huntress in it. We want to have Shazam in it. How would you do Green Lantern? These are questions that need to be iced out. And Zack's like, well, look, I'm working on King Arthur. I'm working on this. How much freedom are you giving me? And then is Ben Affleck, does he want to come back?
I think it's more
and
like
Gal Gadot is too huge right now. She might have projects for the next 2 years. Like they might have to figure out all that. And then
they'll definitely have to
I'll say summer. Vague summer. Summer 2021, we'll hear something.
And they
the
would
worst thing is we don't hear anything, but
yeah, and if they're gonna do 2 and 3, they'd have to do them back to back because you can't. There's already been so much time that's passed between the movie that we're about to see tonight and the second Justice League, right? So much time has already passed that you couldn't possibly do Justice League 2, wait another 5 years, and then do Justice League 3. It would have to be a Lord of the Rings situation where you film them literally back to back, or Avengers Infinity War.
And mind you that they never wrote scripts for 2 and 3 officially. They never wrote scripts because Warner Brothers was like, nope, we don't like the idea. Make one movie. And here's the thing: Zack could very well change what he had in mind for 2 and 3.
He already did. He already has new boards.
Yeah, he has new.
Why would he have new boards if there was nothing? If there wasn't even a glimmer of consideration that this thing could continue, why would he bother drawing up new boards? Why?
Yeah,
For
exactly. And I
himself?
think it's on the plate. I think tough part is Ben Affleck because I think Ben Affleck. We've talked about this, whatever. But he's still my Batman. I love him. I think he might have beaten Michael Keaton as my favorite. But I would say it would take some time. Even if they're committed to do this next week, they're going to want to organize it. They're going to be like, all right, Zack, when are you free? When is so-and-so free? What happened? What are you grinning at?
Justice gets so mad when I mute him, but he has a satellite in the background.
Well, like,
no, I want to hear what he says.
What? No, I'm just trying to let you get your words in without the noise.
Yeah. I'm not mad. I don't.
No,
I'm not mad.
That's what I was grinning at. Jack just stop.
I'm not mad. Jack, continue.
No, but what I mean is, like, I think Justice is right. It's not going to be like, oh, just like that. They're going to take their time. They're going to have to figure out how much money can we make out of this? Is there enough of non-fans watching this? And I have no doubt they're looking at the analytics for Man of Steel and BVS because you have no doubt people are like, all right, well, let me watch Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Is that worth my time? And they're going to look at analytics. They're going to give it a month, I think. Give it a month at least to look at the analytics, the data. And then they're going to be like, all right, Zack, we want you to do 2 and 3, but we also want Shazam, all these characters.
Yeah.
What I said before, can we get Gal? Can we get Jason? Can we get Ben? Can we get Ray and all these people back together?
Yeah.
And if Warner Brothers Pictures says, we don't want to do that, okay, fine, we'll do our own thing on HBOmax because HBO has a lot of money.
Yeah.
They'll be like, fine, we'll do it on our own.
Jack and I spoke about this on the live podcast. This isn't like a spoiler to anybody, but this universe that Zack did, or like the movie that you're about to see, doesn't, and this is a good thing, it does not step on any toes. This could be canon easily.
Yeah.
Very much. It doesn't overstep its grounds. It doesn't change anything that I think it does a better job of leading into the movies that came after it.
Yeah.
Chronologically, I think it does a better job than Justice League, and there's no reason that this couldn't be brought to the forefront
This
of
doesn't
the
affect
DCEU.
Aquaman. It doesn't affect Birds of Prey or Shazam.
No.
Well, it
For
does.
the simple fact of
those movies can still
continuity.
happen.
Yeah, I mean, DC's continuity is so out of whack for me. Anyways, I have no idea what is canon, what isn't with these people. So at least I get that much. I know what's canon from here on out. There's actually a continuity line that I can follow. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Justice always said was, and this is the point. Then this is like the first thing I ever heard Justice say that like made me smile when he was talking about the DC live action, right? Was at least and this is before we got like to see the movie and when we were literally just anticipating it still, was he said, at least when Zack was attached and was leading the universe, I knew what I was going to see when I sat down for a DC movie, right? And like there was a clear, concise tone and continuity wise. Now you kind of look and you're like, well, does this movie go here or does this movie go here or this one? You know, it's kind of confusing. It really is.
And I've entirely given up on DCEU. I don't care anymore at all.
Well,
so I wish nothing but the best for you guys. I hope they do restore the Snyderverse so you guys are happy. I've given up on their live action. I'm staying in my corner in the little animation land, little cartoon land I be in. I'm going to stay over there. I'm going to mind my business. I'm going to build myself a hut. And I'm going to get real comfortable because the DCEU has let me down way too many times.
Okay, that's when you guys say the timeline is confusing or the canon is confusing. I don't think it's that confusing. I mean, whether you consider Justice League or the Snyder Cut as canon, the timeline is still pretty simple. It's like Man of Steel, BVS.
What we were talking about is when all these conversations started happening about restoring the Snyderverse and how it would go, it would be its own alley of movies, but it would also stay in the Warner Brothers continuity when it was the Snyderverse would merge off of it, but these characters would carry over. Like when we were having those conversations, it was hard to follow.
I think what worries me the most is I don't know what they have planned for Flashpoint, because I have a feeling the whole point of Flashpoint was to erase everything but Wonder Woman and Aquaman, which is what they may very well be doing at this moment. I don't know if they start filming now, but
imagine Flashpoint was just a secret Snyder Cut sequel. Imagine.
I've always been. I have no idea because I've yet to get any kind of actual confirmation that I know of, anyways. But that's always been my understanding as well. Well, as of late, anyways, is like that Flashpoint is meant to reboot.
Flashpoint?
No,
it's just in April, I believe. Is it April or summer?
From what I heard, it was April. I think I'm wrong though. I don't know.
If that gets delayed, that will be a sign, because I'm pretty sure there was an alternate script with Ray Fisher and all that.
I was just gonna say, as for me, like I guess you could say I'm more casual, and in that I don't necessarily like read a ton of the comics, nor do I delve too.
Fans aren't reading the comics.
Yeah, I don't delve too deep into the like animation and stuff. So things that are really closely knitted together. But I'm kind of with Justice here. I lost a lot of faith in the DCEU, and I can't say. I mean, I haven't watched the Snyder Cut, but from what I understand of it, I can't say that it neatly fits into what the current timeline, I guess you could say, because Wonder Woman 1984 steps on the toes of that, and Wonder Woman 1984 invalidates a lot.
I pretend it doesn't exist.
It messes up BVS and the Snyder Cut, and then Shazam is supposedly after the Snyder Cut or Justice League, whatever you want to say. But if you want to insert the cut into there, well then Superman has his red and blue suit, so has Darkseid already invaded the Earth, and then the whole is Shazam literally after Justice League 3 potentially, where everything's all hunky dory, and then Superman has gone through his full arc, and now he's a true Superman with the red and blue suit. And then you go to Birds of Prey. Is Birds of Prey after Suicide Squad, and is the Suicide Squad after that? So
that's what Justice was talking about, though. Just for the record.
Yeah. And then I hear Oh my god, it infuriates. I love talking about this because this is my jammy jam right here.
All right, let's go. Take it over, baby.
All right, hit me.
But then like I hear, and I freaking hated this, where James Gunn's people were asking James Gunn like, oh, how did WD approach you? He's like, oh, you want to like, are you trying to follow Birds of Prey or something? He's like, no, they were like, just here's the characters and do what you want to do. It's like, oh, I'm doing this 70s like nostalgia war, comedy thing. Yeah, Vietnam, and then there's arms and heads and genitals exploding, and it's like, okay, that sounds awesome.
Tell me, what are your first reactions when you hear James Gunn say those words?
I get enraged.
Okay.
That is, I had all the creative freedom I needed.
Right now, why is that a problem?
Well, because they didn't.
I'm not like egging you on. I'm asking you because I agree, and I want to hear your answer. Yeah. So why is that an issue?
Because it's an issue for me because they didn't initially put that at the forefront at the conception of this universe. They ham-fisted a 2 hour 30-minute runtime studio mandated cuts to BVS. They completely neglected David Ayer and put on a trailer company to re-edit, not to reshoot, but to re-edit his film, and then re-edited Justice League, and now they're starting to like make amends for that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not saying that if you didn't start then you shouldn't start now. You have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere where being a decent freaking studio,
a studio of old. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to start somewhere. And like, I don't fault James Gunn for that. And I want James Gunn to make the best movie he possibly can, but the way I always saw the DCEU was it had to be like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, or what, like Star Wars is the best example, because we have The Mandalorian, Rebels, and like different spin-off shows that are directly in the universe, but they have their own creative freedom because they have, Filoni Favreau with The Mandalorian. They have Filoni that was working with Rebels and stuff like that, and then all the other individual directors for Clone Wars, individual directors for each episode of The Mandalorian. They have all of that, but they're like, okay, so who's the creator of that universe? Oh, it's Lucas. And he sets the rules, he sets this, that, and that's what the sequels should have been, but the sequels weren't that. And we've seen what happened with that. Mm-hmm. So all I wanted, and maybe Zack didn't want to be in this role. You know what I mean? Zack is a very tough person to follow up. You can't just be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make a sequel to a Zack Snyder film. It's like,
it's very hard.
Unless you work directly with them and get a stamp of approval, you can't really follow up with that.
Wonder Woman, the first one, is a good example.
I don't think the DCEU, or let's say the Snyderverse, the 5-film arc or whatever film arc that Zack wanted, that included like, Aquaman and David Ayer's Suicide Squad. I don't think it was ever meant to be branched off into spin-off things to make a proto kind of, not a proto, but a pseudo MCU. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was meant to be its own kind of saga, like the Star Wars saga, and then have a beginning, middle, and end. Where you can have a box set.
It was meant to be 20 movies, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Zack wanted his 5-movie arc, and he wanted it to be its own thing. And but essentially, if you're looking at it, it's a box set, right? Yes. Of those 5 movies, and that's it. Then the studio came to him and said, all right, we're going to make an Aquaman movie, a Wonder Woman movie. And he said, okay, you can do what you want.
Excuse me.
But this is my arc right here.
And I hate that, because what they do is they take the gold. They have the golden goose in Zack Snyder, and he's laying these eggs, you know what I mean? And these eggs, ambrosia, they're perfect, you know what I mean? You got Gal's casting, you got Momoa's casting, you got stuff like that. But then you want to take all that and you want to rip it away from the goose, you know what I mean? And you want to keep on having those golden eggs, but you can't have it because you don't even have the goose there. You know?
Well, that's what I was referring to when I said, like, at least I know what's going on with Snyder. The problem is the DC, Warner Brothers, or Warner Media, whoever you want to put the blame on, they're for lack of a better word, they're chicken shit, right? So they put out Zack Snyder's work and they get a little bit of feedback, and there's some people who don't like it, and the critics didn't didn't give them the numbers that they thought, and they didn't make the money they were supposed to make, and they're not matching up to the mouse. So we're going to ditch him, and we're going to make it up as we go along. And that's essentially what they've been doing this entire time. Is like each step is thought up on the spot. At least with Snyder, there was a plan. Don't be a chicken. Go out. You made the plan. You hired the man. Go throughout the plan and make it happen. Don't chicken out halfway through and start giving us random nonsense that doesn't even add up correctly. You know?
Yeah. Right. It's the analogy that can be made, like, and I've said it before, is what if Marvel after Age of Ultron was like, oh shit, it didn't get the reaction we wanted because it was very mixed, and they just ditched everything, right? They fired Joss, which they essentially was the case, right? Joss left, and they went with a different director. But imagine it wasn't the Russos, and imagine it tanked after Age of Ultron.
You know what would be a good like kind of continuing of that thought point would be, what if they just went from Age of Ultron, and then you're like, oh, you see the Infinity Stones, oh, you see, Thanos with his Infinity Gauntlet saying, oh, fine, I'll do it myself, and you're seeing all these setups for what can be, and they're like, so we're just gonna forget about that. How about the what if? Hey, we're still using the same actors. But it's what if? Is it in? Is it out? No, it's not.
All of a sudden on Disney Plus.
So
yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I'm really infuriated with the DCEU, and
but
they have wrecked the timeline, and I really wanted that connectivity. I don't like. I'm a very ignorant person.
Do we need it?
Carlos, you haven't seen the movie yet. The connectivity can still be there. You can still have Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, and those.
At least
there's nothing in these movies that ruins the subsequent movies.
Yeah.
Both Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League.
It's not the movie though. That's not what we're referring to. It's Warner Brothers or Warner Media or whoever's in charge of doing this. Zack's, of course, Justice League ties into all of this because that was his plan the whole time. It's supposed to tie into these things. But like once again, Warner Media just won't stick to their guns.
Warner Brothers,
I think maybe, right? Warner Brothers, they won't stick to it, and they keep flip-flopping, and we call that set tripping, right? They're like, one day you're doing this and then the next you're doing that, right? That's not cool. Nobody likes that.
I think that it's very much possible in the next few months they will tell Zack, look, Zack, we know you got your plans for 2 and 3. Can you reintegrate it with what we're doing, with what we've already done, with the spin-off Shazam 2 and everything? And he's a clever guy. He can do it. And maybe the story changes for 2 and 3. And
would he?
Would
he do it?
Would he want to
that's
compromise?
the other thing. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a lot of work for a man who was blatantly disrespected by this studio. They might as well spit in his mouth and call him a pussy, right? They would blatant disrespect. I wouldn't do. That's a lot of work you're asking for a man that you treated wasn't worth your time or your money. If I was Zack, I'd tell him I'm good, and I'd stick with Netflix.
And they're letting him do his job. They may want to do it, and he'll say, you know what, no. I got Army of the
I
Dead
wouldn't
coming
do it
out.
if I was
I'm
him.
a King Arthur story. I want to do my own stories. I'm 57 years old. I'm moving on.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so at least for me, I'm a very serious, trivial person. so the most trivial things in movies literally irk me so hard. And Marvel had skirted a lot of things under the rug with their kind of like discontinuity between their MCU, but it's 10 a millionfold more with DC and stuff like that. And like as for me, I'm like, how come King Atlan's trident in the Aquaman movie has a different design than in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and how come there's the way they talk underwater is this and that, and whenever I hear it from Zack, it's Zack, well, I'm doing my own thing, and to what the studios want, it's not canon, and I hear that stuff, it makes me want to rip my hair out, because it's like. Like James Wan, I love it. Very nice movie, or studios, or whoever was the mind behind some of these decisions. It's like you are directly pulling from this, and you're saying not to think of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the cul-de-sac comment.
Here's the problem: the fact that we're having this conversation is the problem, right? We don't talk about this for Marvel for the most part. people understood where it was going, how it was doing, and why it was going there, right? No one had these kind of conversations. The problem is that we're having this conversation in the first place. The Warner Brothers got shaky, they got flaky, and they backed out of the overall, the grand storyline that they wanted to build. They really were hopeful, and they were really backing Zack Snyder's play up until a certain point, and then they became like that friend who amps you up for a fight and then all of a sudden disappears. When the fists start flying, he's nowhere to be found, right?
Ty, can I do a shameless plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're working on a documentary series in which Ray Porter's involved. The second chapter of our second episode is all about Rotten Tomatoes and how Rotten Tomatoes scared the hell out of Warner Brothers and fans on YouTube going on rants endlessly that kind of derail this. And the whole chapter is about Rotten Tomatoes and why, like, people are like, it scored so low. Oh my God, people aren't watching it. Let's change course. You know, you're in the middle of making a $300 million movie and you're going to change directions.
Yeah.
And if you watch the way, and Justice, you've seen it, it seems almost like, Warner Brothers had no choice because the way people were reacting online.
Absolutely. Look, I'll give you that.
God, what did we just do?
Yeah, I'll give you that. I get why Warner Brothers separated. I get it. Because the same kind of hype we're seeing for Justice League is the same kind of hate that movies like BVS were getting. Man of Steel, not so much. BVS got nothing but hate for quite some time. I get why Warner Brothers separated, but the problem is they didn't separate with a plan. They separated and then just kind of, again, just make it up as we go. Each time we take a step, we'll start there and we'll go. You see what I'm saying? Should have stuck with Zack. Yeah, it's not the numbers you want, but stick with Zack and then maybe come up with a new plan, then part ways, or stay with him. But you need like a direct path.
Take a look at Marvel. When Age of Ultron was so, I like Age of Ultron. It's not as good as the first one. They weren't like, oh my God, we need to change course. They were like, no, they already had Civil War being made. They stuck with their plan. WandaVision, for all its mixed feelings, they're going to release Falcon and Winter Soldier. They're going to keep doing what they're going to do because they know something's going to click. So for every Iron Man 3 or Thor the Dark World, there will be a Thor Ragnarok or a Civil War or a Winter Soldier that will bring fans back. And if Warner Brothers had not panicked and stuck with the vision, I think they would have been on a better track.
Yeah, it does go down to the fact that, and I know people like Robert Meyer Burnett and say stuff like this, but Warner Bros. And DC really needed their own Kevin Feige, and I don't think Zack was going to do that. Zack was
never that person, by the way.
Zack is an artist. That's what he is. He makes art, and he's not a how would you say, he's not a museum director. He doesn't run a gallery.
He's not the curator.
This is what I said on Twitter, and I had to stop the notifications because it was so much activity on it. And this is from the bottom of my heart. Maybe I'm a little biased. Justice and I spoke about that as well. I give it a 9.7 out of 10. And this is a note to future studios. Do not hire Zack Snyder if you're looking to make a movie by committee. Zack Snyder flourishes when he is allowed to express his artistic talent. He does not make movies by committee. If you're looking for that, don't hire him. Go find the Russos. Go find I'm like drawing a blank here, but go find that guy. Go find the next director, right? The next big one. Go find them and give them an opportunity. Don't hire Zack. Zack is not that guy.
Yeah. And
by the way, listen to the stories the Russos faced when they were trying to make Civil War with whoever the head of the Disney was at the time. They had to really fight to get Civil War made. Because I think the Disney guy was like, no, let's keep the story small. Keep the story small.
Yeah, originally
and the Russos
was
were like, no, we got to make this a big story. It's got to have everyone in it. They had to kind of fight to get that vision made, and thank God they did, because I think Civil War saved the MCU and made it bigger instead of just being another story. It exploded the MCU into something else.
That's true.
It was relatively small compared to the comic book.
Oh yeah, but what I mean
Yeah,
is like,
Like it was
like,
so
a lot
weird.
of people said Civil War was like another Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the hell the
2.5.
CEO of Disney was, but he was like, no,
Bob?
too many characters, too many characters.
Bob Iger.
Was it Bob Iger? I don't know who it was.
It was Bob Iger. Yeah.
Bob Iger. They're like, let's scale it back down. Let's not have all these characters. Let's make it a Captain America movie. And they were like, no.
Which I would have liked. Honestly, this is my opinion. I would, after it seemed redundant or it seemed counterproductive, and this is my thoughts only. I would have still done Civil War, but I wouldn't have made it a Captain America movie because we had just got the most fire Captain America movie ever. Literally ever, the best in Winter Soldier. And then to make his solo movie a culmination of like an Avengers movie, I was disappointed in that when they announced it because we had, for Captain America 1, we were like, meh, whatever. I still loved it. And then Captain America 2 was like, woo, that's what I'm talking about. And then 3, yeah, it was a Captain America movie, but it was more of an Avengers movie. I wanted to see
This is why I like Civil War a little more than the Winter Soldier.
It could have just been Civil War. That's it. It didn't need to be a Captain
But here's why
America
I liked it, because in the first Avengers movie, they didn't know what to do with Cap. Joss was like, all right, you're going to be on the ground.
He was like this. Yeah, I was just going to say.
You go over here, I'll be down here. He's wearing that corny suit. Civil War was, even in Age of Ultron, the problem was Robert Downey Jr. was so huge. But Civil War is the first time where Cap kind of comes out, stands up to Tony, and he's like, no, you're wrong. And I was like,
Yeah, Cap was the catalyst.
It's almost like Chris Evans is standing up to Robert Downey Jr. Like, he's like, no, I'm the leader, not you.
Yeah.
I'm the leader. So I kind of like that. But like what I'm saying is like the Russo brothers still had to fight to get that done. They wanted to have Hawkeye in it. They wanted to have everyone. And then Bob Iger was like, no, we don't want all that. And they had to fight. And then Feige was like, no, let them do what they're doing. They had to fight for that. And I think Civil War, it's not a great retelling of the comic, but it's like it works in the MCU because
that's a great example.
I love that the movie starts about the Sokovia Awards, but at the end of the movie, they're fighting about what happened with Bucky. They're fighting about that videotape. They're like, dude, you killed my mom, and made it personal. Because even Tony violated the Sokovia Awards at the end of the movie by going to help Cap.
Yeah. Jack, let me throw something in before we get too far away from it. You said that the Russo brothers had to fight and Bob Iger kept interfering, right? So Kevin Feige had to step in and be like, Bob, let them do what they have to do.
Yeah.
DC needs a Kevin Feige for that exact reason.
You're right.
Because the bigwigs keep interfering, right? They keep putting their nose into it. No, Zack, no, Zack, no, Zack. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And there's no Feige here to keep them from getting down here, right? You need that backup, right? You need somebody who's a little closer to the bigwigs to kind of to steer it in the right direction. Be like, no, it's okay. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
But also the other thing is that Feige, he's an outlier. Say it all you want. Like, oh, Feige, he's like, oh, it's bread and butter. He has a formula for movies and stuff like that. But he's an outlier because back when the MCU first started, he already produced a ton of Marvel movies, be it the X-Men movies,
the X-Men,
and be it all that. And he knew, and he learned, and he knew, and he's a connoisseur of this material. He loves the characters, and whether he you might say he doesn't go too far with it because it's like, oh, there's these big dramatic things, oh, Mephisto, then like this comic storyline and these characters, and it's so wacky and crazy, and no matter what you say,
Jack is Mephisto.
Feige is a fan first, and then he's a producer second. And there is like Jim Lee. Yes, there is. Zack Snyder is a fan of DC, and maybe somebody else you might mention, but nobody has the qualifications that Kevin Feige had at the start of his MCU career.
See, I would have loved this Serpent Society.
Yeah, it was originally going to be Serpent Society.
I would have loved that, by the way, just for the record. But okay, here's a question: would you be down? And I don't think Zack would ever do it, but would you ever consider Zack being that Kevin Feige for the DCEU?
I mean, Well, Kevin Feige does like so much more. He's like making calls and making deals with different studios that own the rights. I mean, WB owns the rights to everything. I would say, and I don't know if Zack would want this.
Right, Ron. I'm saying in a perfect society that maybe he did.
Yeah, perfect world. I would say Zack established the universe. He casted who he casted, and literally all they do is they have meetings with Zack and defer to him and be like, okay, so we're gonna have this director direct a Blue Beetle movie. Okay, it's going to be we don't have Blue Beetle in Justice League 3, so it's gonna be afterwards. And he gets his powers this way, and I kind of think that these interactions would be good. And it's like, okay, Zack, where do you think onward from here it would go? It's like, oh well, this character is here, and this is in the matters, and oh, there's this loose end, because like this still exists in the universe, hasn't been completely defeated. So do what you want with that, and just make sure you don't mess up with any designs or continuity. I have a person who you could defer to that, continuity expert or something. And go do your thing and hope it's good, stuff like that. Well, I don't think Zack is willing to sit down and do those meetings every time.
Yeah. So here's a suggestion, right? Feige has been working you just brought it up. Feige's been working that producer spot for quite some time on Marvel films. Why not put Deborah in that Feige kind of seat? Ooh. She can do it. She's been producing this whole time. And it's not. It won't be. There's no like big
Feige
director kind of conflict, right? They're not bumping heads. They know how to work together because they've been doing it for a minute now. So I think that's your best case scenario, is letting them work together and have her play that kind of position because she knows what she's doing, clearly.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was going to suggest another power couple that has left, which is Emma and Christopher Nolan, because that's kind of what Nolan was doing. Nolan was like, I can't make that Superman movie, but I know someone who can. I can be a producer and kind of let other people do their thing. But and look, outside of Zack, the DCEU with guys like Andy Muschietti, with David F. Sandberg, who's the young lady who made Birds of Prey? I forget her name.
Kathy Yan.
Kathy Yan, yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. James Wan. James Wan came up from doing Saw to Conjuring to Insidious. I kind of like that direction of picking auteurs to take characters and do their own thing.
Yeah, and I want that too. Bring their own style. Yeah. Like one is like, oh, this is Green Lantern. This is intergalactic buddy cop.
Dude, that was gonna be so good.
Yeah, like Batman is gritty night detective drama, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and that I want that, but I don't know who could fill that role because again, we're picking people who are they're artists like Christopher Nolan. Like, I mean, when you get into a Kevin Feige position, it's basically a lifetime position. Yeah. Because these characters, they're more than just characters in a book or characters in a comic. These are icons. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they aren't gonna die because they're modern day Greek myths. Like we had with the myths back then. It was a religious practice. It was deeply embedded in the society and stuff like that. And that's what they defer to. And now we have the superhero.
Yeah.
So this is like a lifetime gig. It's gonna last decades. And I don't know who is. I don't.
Justice, you might have foreshadowed the future, bro.
So
that's so stupid. It made me laugh. Sorry.
So I don't. So I don't know who is willing to like. I mean, me. Like I have my whole life ahead of me,
and I love. Maybe a committee of people, like a.
Then it goes back to movies by committee.
Yeah, that gets.
No, when I say committee, I mean like 4 or 5 people, like Chris Nolan, Emma Nolan, Deborah Snyder, like just 3 or 4 people who are of the same vision.
Yeah,
not necessarily like Walter Amado.
In a perfect world, that would be good. But in the world that we live in, there's too many conflicting. Like that'd be us 4.
Yeah.
Making a movie or telling people how to make a movie, we'd all be like, no, it's going to be this way. Eventually there would be conflict. Eventually, maybe not at first, but eventually.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't know what Kevin Feige's method is. I mean, like he probably should release a book or a documentary about his method or something. But like what I would think would be for me, it's like, okay, so you're trying to do this character, you give me a proposal. I give you the world and then you do your thing. because we're talking about the Snyderverse too, and like, you know, I'm for the multiverse. I love the multiverse. You know what I mean? I love Joker. I love what the Batman is going to be, what it can be. But
are you excited for that?
I like, my excitement is like a 5. It's like the general excitement. It's not like
when we watch fandom, like Justice and I had a conversation after fandom when it was like, honestly, we were more excited for the DCEU finally, but also like we got a little taste of the Batman. Like we felt comfortable with where DC was headed. Again, now we're back to that not knowing.
Yeah. So anyway, like I guess in my ideal world, so we would have the main timeline, which is the prime universe. So whether it be the MCU or whatnot. So in this case, it'd be the DCEU, the Snyderverse, where there would be that kind of overruling producer body that says, okay, you want to be in the Snyderverse. You want the Snyderverse? Then you need to follow this kind of timeline. You can't interfere. Oh, you can't say Wonder Woman was saving people in the 80s because she wasn't. You can't say
she was gone from the world of men.
Yeah, you can't say, you know, the Justice League had, you know, licensed merchandise before Darkseid. You know, before they freaking, you know, actually became a fully fledged team, having the Hall of Justice, and defeating, you know, giant world threats. You can't say they have licensed merchandise and everybody knows who they are. You know, so you can't do this and this and that. You know what I mean?
That was you're referring to the Shazam scene, right? Where they go through the mall.
Yeah, see, I love Shazam, but it doesn't fit in the Snyderverse because
Carlos, that could still work because the Snyder Cut still technically takes place in 2016, 2017, and Shazam takes place in 2019. And without ruining the movie, like that still could happen.
Well, as far as I guess I'm going on outdated, obsolete storyboards, and I'm saying, oh, because for me it's the black suit. That's the main part, because like you have Freddy who has I'm a trivial guy. I'm such a trivial guy. He has a newspaper clipping. It's like, he is back. Superman is back, and then it shows the red symbol. It's like, well, that's not the first thing he wore. You know, So like this, the headline should have said, did our Superman really return? The strange reemergence of the Man of Steel or whatever.
But see, even small things like that, I don't think that ruins it. I think it could still work.
It doesn't ruin
there
it,
has
but
to be some jiggering.
It gets me.
You know, like do you remember how they had like the gauntlet in the first Thor movie, and then Thanos has it at the end of Age of Ultron? So they came up in Thor Ragnarok,
fake.
Fake. It's just, you know, they could do something like that. Is it great? No, but they could, you know, figure that stuff out. You know, look, they got rid of Terrence Howard. I loved Terrence Howard. It still kind of bugs me. I like Don Cheadle too, but
so
they changed him. I'm like, whatever. They changed Edward Norton. If they can make changes with actors like that, small things like that, I think can be fixed. Is it perfect? No, but
that's
it worked. Yes,
but yeah. So
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Just to kind of close up my thought and put in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
So the Snyderverse, that would be the main timeline, and you know, you defer to the producer or the producer committee, as you say. And you know they would fit it accurately to continue that issue, that kind of timeline, that universe. And then if a director was just a director and writer who pitched their film, they're like, well, I don't want to conform to this. I don't want to conform to that. Yeah. And you know then DC as a whole sees the potential, and they're like, okay, so you're gonna make a banger. This thing is gonna be like muchísimo. Like, this is gonna be great. And they're like, okay, all right, so you can do whatever you want, not in the Snyderverse stuff. So don't use any. You can't use any of the characters or any of the set precedent, but do whatever you want.
Maybe.
Black label.
Yep. But like, how do I put it?
That's the perfect world. Main timeline.
Yeah, that's true.
Spin-offs.
Yeah.
Main timeline. Elseworld. Not just all Elseworld. Oh my god, I hate that so much. Not just all. You know, I'm gonna pick a little bit from here. I'm gonna pick a little bit from here. You know what? I love Gal Gadot. You know what? I don't love Zack Snyder's background for Gal Gadot.
The only thing that kind of screws everything up is the fact there's a Batman movie coming out and has nothing to do with the Snyderverse.
I'm okay with that. But
I'm okay with it too.
It's like if they hired Ben Affleck, okay, you're gonna do the Batman movie, not in the Snyderverse. Matt Reeves gonna direct.
Pattinson said, "I'm vengeance." I don't know. I got Christian Bale flashbacks when he said that. I know everyone loved it, but I was like, "I'm vengeance."
And then everything has a place because they have the main timeline and then the Black Label and then the Elseworlds and stuff like that. And then you have the multiverse. So eventually, if you wanted to, you could have Brandon Routh, Superman, cross over into this in a big, Crisis on Infinite Earths event, or Crisis on Two Earths, or
hey, look,
kind
it
of
worked for the CW, and CW does not have that big of a viewership. It's compared to, let's say, the other networks.
God,
people understood. People understood.
I swear WB screwed the pooch so hard. Does anybody know how to get a job at these companies, man? I'll dedicate my life to this. I'll have no soul.
You go to the website and you apply.
That's what Marcel did. I love how Marcel was like, I just applied and I got the job. I'm like, that was it.
I swear, I will sell my soul to WB.
All right, 1 minute.
I'll fix the system.
There we go. I still don't like the way he says I'm vengeance.
Say what you want.
Looks great.
Say what you want, but after me and Justice saw that trailer, we were in the vet for my dog because he got stung by a bee outside. We were fucking screaming. Screaming at the vet, like what?
No, the trailer looks like I'm
100% sure.
One at a time.
All right,
yeah, look, real quick. I'm 100% sure that this movie is gonna. Everything good about this movie is gonna be within the narrative and the story told. It's 100%. The action, I don't think is gonna be that great. I'm not a big fan of the way the Batmobile looks. I'm not a big fan of the Batsuit itself. I think it's all going to be about, again, the story told and the performances given. So basically the exact opposite of what Zack Snyder has been giving me in a nutshell.
Okay.
Give us your overall thoughts. All right, so I'm going to lead it. I'll put everyone as a big spot and then someone can lead me while I go the big spot. Justice. So you say you don't think the action will be as good. You don't like the Batsuit. You don't like the Batmobile, but you think that the overall story is going to be the best part.
That's right. The story and performances given. I'm still kind of a bit on the fence with Battison, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he does a good job. Whoever's playing the Riddler, I have no idea. I'm not good with actor names, so don't hang me for this. But whoever's playing the Riddler, I feel he's going to give a great performance.
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano. I'm sure Gordon's going to put on a performance. Andy Serkis as Alfred seems really cool. I think Alfred's always good. I've yet to see a bad Alfred, except for Schumacher. But I think it's going to be within. It's going to be within stories told and the performances given. Again, I think the action's going to be kind of lackluster. It's not going to be like anything crazy. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to come anywhere close to the warehouse scene. So don't even expect anything of that sort. It's the action is not going to be there. It's going to be about a story, but that's what I like in a Batman.
Okay, you know what? I respect that. I do. I respect that. All right. So next up, we got Carlos. What are your thoughts overall on the Batman?
Yeah. So it looks awesome. I do like the dark approach and. I do like the suit, not necessarily ears. It's kind of really domey.
Domey, I like it.
But I don't like the muscle car Batmobile. Like
I like what you said though about the domey helmet because I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, it's too like I like.
I know exactly what you mean, so you don't even have to explain.
Yeah, but I'm do liking the feel. I do like the kind of like Daredevil-esque feel, because and it kind of grounds the person more. So I think this is like the happy middle between like the Nolan and Batfleck and stuff like that. And like I think action is gonna be way better than Nolan's. Like Nolan does some good like large destruction and stunts like that. But when it comes to fight choreography, oh god, it's atrocious. I swear. Like unless Dark Knight Rises, all elbows.
I've been
doing that.
I that's what I'm saying.
Dancing,
No, but that's what I'm saying on Christian Bale's Batman. It's all defensive martial art. It's not. That's not Batman. That's not Batman because Batman is an offensive
predator.
That's right. That's right. And that's so weird you guys bring that up. I've never brought it up because I felt like my nuts would quite literally be chopped off if I said anything bad.
No, you're in the right.
Trash. It really is. It's trash. The fighting is awful. But
for me, Nolan's Batman is trash.
Oh my god, I don't know about all that.
Oh no,
I wouldn't say it's trash.
I
like,
just saw that within this trailer when that little quick clip of him fighting Catwoman. It reminded me very much of Nolan's choreography. It looked very similar.
I think it's bringing it a step up. I mean, like we saw a clear like he was like being brutal and breaking that dude's arm and just punching him straight in the face and stuff like that. I was feeling that. I don't like the hypocrites that are saying they're just like doting this movie. They're like, oh, they're creaming their pants and they're like, oh my god, this is the greatest. This is the greatest thing in the world. Like, okay, we probably just cracked that dude's skull and he's gonna bleed out in a matter of minutes. You know what I mean? But Ben Affleck's Batman shouldn't be a murderer.
All right, so
wait.
No, wait. We're going with the panel. We're going with the panel.
Fine. Go with the panel.
So, one last thought. So you like the aesthetics. You think the action's going to be good. You don't really like the suit.
The suit is a little off for me. The suit is good, just a little weird cowl. I'm gonna try to summarize this. The car is. I don't like the muscle car aesthetic. Okay. It still needs to be it can't be. It can be based off of a muscle car, but he's inserting his innovation into it. It's like, oh, I just put nitrous on a muscle car. No, you got to put like armor plating. You got to put haphazard. If this is gonna be like year 1, year 2, haphazard kind of defense mechanisms and stuff like that. This is the Mobile. This is your Batcave away from your Batcave. So yeah, I had a problem with that, and I think the story's gonna be great. I'm loving. I do love seeing the more diversity in the kind of storytelling. I like kind of wish what I wish with Nolan, like those more of his rogues gallery and stuff like that.
Can I?
So yeah.
Carlos, can I just toss something in real quick? So when we first saw that Fandom trailer that he was mentioning earlier, I had made a comparison to Gotham by Gaslight. Not only the suit, but for the same reason you were just saying. It's a muscle car with nitrous. That's it. This Batman, I don't see the technical side of Batman. I don't see the devices. I don't see the gadgets. I see old school detective type work. Gotham by Gaslight. That's exactly why I made that comparison.
That's a great book and animated series.
All right. So sorry, Carlos.
You saved the best for last. And by the way,
I'm actually gonna go last, so I know exactly what you're saying.
3 hours into the 18th, none of you have wished me a happy birthday, but that's fine. Remember my friend Justin Hines, who you kept calling Justin
Happy birthday,
Hines?
Jack! I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jack!
And it's my sister's birthday too. We're not twins though; it's just pure coincidence. He put it this way: everything about the trailer looks great, except for Batman himself. Now, I have no doubt Pattinson's going to kill it. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, he was in Twilight. I don't know, like that. You know what? It's hard for me is that we have Affleck right here. So, like when the Christian Bale Batman happened, this was after the Schumacher Batman. It's like we got these really like cheesy Batman with the nipples and like dorky. So when Christian Bale's Batman came around, who was like, they did a good introduction story. It was like, all right, yeah, this is the kind of Batman. It's hard for me to jump on the Pattinson Batman when we have the Affleck Batman. Like that guy who's like, what the hell are you supposed to be? I'm like, could you imagine if he said that to the Affleck Batman?
Twist his neck.
Yeah, he would twist his neck. And when he said, I'm vengeance, I don't know. It just felt... he's going to kill it. I'm saying it right now. He's going to kill it because Pattinson is a phenomenal actor. But I'm not quite on board on this. Like, Carlos, it's going to be a great movie. When you said people are creaming their pants, like, yeah, I wasn't creaming my pants. I was like, okay.
No. But
and you know, with the dome and everything, it looks like Robert Pattinson. It's like they made the mask to look like Robert Pattinson.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the overall aesthetic and like the feel?
Great. I mean, Matt Reeves is going to make it. This is going to be a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just like we still have Affleck over here.
But we do,
especially after seeing Snyder Cut a couple of days ago. This is not like the Snyder Cut was like a 20-year-old movie. This happened like a couple of years ago, and Ben Affleck is still out there. And I'm like, he's right there. He's right there.
It's not impossible to continue it.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Well, Drip, I know you don't like Affleck as Batman, but like for me, it's like the other way around. It's like, well, we're just going for another actor. I feel like they rushed this movie. And it's going to be good. I have no doubt.
Look, I have never been satisfied with a Batman. in live action, I have big problems with every last one of them. There is no exception. I have problems with all of them, and that's why I keep saying it. I stay in my land of animation because they can do the things I expect them to do.
Justice, even with animation,
cartoon.
every time I hear Jason O'Mara's voice, I'm like, that's not Kevin Conroy. Like that even happens to me.
I kind of like Jason.
You know what I mean?
I kind of like Jason.
I like Jason too. He's not bad, but I'm like
him.
That's not
Kevin
Conroy.
Also, but I say also with the animated stuff, it's like the Batman can interact with so much more than what is available to the movies because they always limited him to what he can do. You know what I mean? Because with the animated, he's interacting with other super beings and all these kind of bigger threats, and where he could show more of his Batman side, as well as having his smaller kind of, roles. So I think it's,
it's different.
It's
different.
Well,
So
let me say this about Matt Reeves as a director. His ape movies are way better.
Yeah,
than the
I was
Charlton
gonna,
Heston
I was gonna say this because I'd like to lead through it, and I was literally gonna bring that up. So we do have Matt Reeves, and we know he can direct in a cinematic way where we can make 3 movies, make it a trilogy, kind of like Chris Nolan, where we knew that Batman Begins was literally the beginning of something, whereas this Batman we know is the beginning of something. Do you have faith in Matt Reeves as a director to create a world and expand upon it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I have faith in him.
So do you remember the first reactions to Batman Begins?
Oh, yeah.
So it was similar. People were very mixed, but overall positive. So I think we do have to remember we can't really judge it yet, right? We don't know too much about it. We might not be, but all we can do is pick things apart because that's what we do, right? But what do you think this is going to be a good?
This movie is going to be amazing. I have no doubt, and Pattinson's going to kill it. It's just hard for me with Affleck right here.
It is. I couldn't agree more.
It's not
but
like Affleck is 70 years old now. He's an old man. No, he's right there.
I agree. So I'm just gonna say one thing before, because you guys kind of hit the nail on the head for how I feel about the movie. I'm excited for it. It's just unpopular opinion, by the way.
Okay.
Christian Bale's Batman was good because it was the first Batman that we ever saw with a serious take. I guess Michael Keaton's had a serious take, but it was the first Batman that tested. Exactly. You can't even say that, right? Keaton's not even that great.
I didn't grow up with Keaton.
I grew up with Bale. I went back and watched Keaton, and I think Keaton very much falls under the goofy category.
I'm looking at
you see that now, but at the time, remember prior to the Tim Burton movies,
old
it was
timer.
Adam West.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and he killed, by the way, the Keaton Batman killed.
Okay, so you just said exactly where my thoughts are going, right? So for each Batman that we get, it's like, at the time he's the best Batman, and it is no different with Christian Bale's Batman. The best part about The Dark Knight was Heath Ledger. And nobody seems to want to admit it. But Christian Bale as Batman was the best Batman because we hadn't seen Ben Affleck. We hadn't seen if you put and you can say what you want, but I think Pattinson might even be a better Batman than Christian Bale. Christian Bale's Batman was defensive, and that went against everything I knew about Batman. Batman was an offensive, like Carlos said, apex predator. And with Bale's Batman, it was the best one we had, and that's why everyone grew to it. It was a dark. It was a story about a real world Batman, and it was great for the time. But now that we've moved past it, you can look and see its flaws, and there was a lot of them. Heath Ledger was the best part of that trilogy.
Okay, Bale, if you ask me, Bale did such a good job as Batman. It had nothing to do with when he actually had the cowl and the cape on. It was more about, I think a lot of it was because of American Psycho, and he did such a good job of making Bruce as if there's 2 different personalities there, right? And he behaves when he would behave as one way, Bruce the playboy, and then when he would behave as Batman, it was so conflicting and so well done that at points I actually believe this man has multiple personality disorder.
I didn't
job at that.
That was what he was going for. Can I just say the one thing about The Dark Knight? Everyone says that all that makes that movie great is just Heath Ledger. He is
he's the
definitely
best
the
part,
gold star in the movie, but that movie is well written, well paced. Aaron Eckhart is great in that movie.
I love
It's
Two-Face.
a good thriller.
No, you're right.
And the action sequences, I'll take that chase sequence with the truck over anything else that's come out a lot of comic book movies. It's great practical effects.
Nolan's great at that.
Nolan's great at that. And I think that was the first movie that pushed Batman and the whole thing. Oh, you don't kill people? I'm going to make you kill people. And the whole movie ends with him having to kill Harvey Dent to save Jim Gordon's son. That's good storytelling. Like he actually did kill Harvey Dent,
right?
He had no choice. They put Batman in that corner, and that's what I liked about Zack. Also, he pushed Batman and Superman into corners. But
if you take Batman and turn him into Vin Diesel, just as Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
That story's good, right? Yeah. That if it's not Batman, it's The Rock, just as The Rock in his name's Hobbs, right? And he's in that same exact setting, and you change it's just as good as a movie. I didn't feel like it was a Batman movie. It was a thriller. It was a Chris Nolan movie with Batman in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Batman story.
Really
I'm not saying it's not a good movie. I'm saying it's not a good Batman movie. Yeah,
I get what you mean.
I disagree with you. Like it showed everything. Like he does a lot of detective work. Here's the thing: he's the least interesting character in the
detective
movie.
work.
He's the least interesting character in the movie because it's hard to write Batman well when you have the Joker there. And same thing with the Michael Keaton movie. Like you have Jack Nicholson hamming it up. He's having fun.
Listen,
as the Joker.
I never thought that I would like a Batman more than Christian Bale. I was a sucker for Bale, right? Bale was my Batman. And then I met Ben Affleck. And I was like, that's Batman.
And so let me say that I think Affleck, like I grew up with Keaton. I always thought Keaton's casting was unique. Not that he's physically in the role, but he's got something else going on with, like, he just looks demented. But I think Affleck is better. My dad liked Affleck. Like Keaton, he's like, no, Affleck's a better Batman.
What does he do when he smashes the bottle?
It's like,
you want to get nuts?
Michael, I'm sorry. I want to play off a point. You said,
well,
this
there's
is
something
a
wrong
Nolan
with that
movie.
dude.
All right, one at a time.
I'm in love with you. He's like, yeah, I got work to do, bitch. Like he just moves away. He's like,
one at a time.
That wasn't a good thing, Jack. I want to play off a point.
I'm going to give you an example. Like, I'm in love
one
with
at
you.
a time.
I love you. And he's like, yeah, I got to go kill the Joker.
Listen, I want to make a point off of something you said. You said this is a Nolan movie featuring Batman. Is that not the case for everybody? Keaton was very much a Tim Burton movie featuring Batman. Is every BBS not a Zack Snyder movie featuring Ben Affleck as Batman?
But if you took the Batman character out of it and placed it with like some 007 kind of agent, it wouldn't be the same movie. I'm saying Chris Nolan's movie, if you took Batman out of it and put any old like John Wick style character in it, it would be a good movie. You can't take Batman out of Tim Burton's universe, replace it with 007 and have it be a good movie. What I'm saying is Christopher Nolan's universe that he built was very much a realistic. Gotham didn't look like Gotham. Gotham looked like Pittsburgh, right? This movie was meant to feel realistic. I think that Matt Reeves' universe is going to have that. Like when you see Gotham, it's going to be dark and gloomy, and the buildings are going to be pointy, extra pointy.
Yeah, I thought it looked like Tim Burton's Gotham. I thought I saw similarities. Yeah.
Whereas
that movie won an Oscar for its art direction.
Whereas Chris Nolan's Gotham was very much like Bane and Batman fought. Yeah, Bane and Batman fought in like the snow. I've never seen it snow in Gotham.
Okay, I don't like The Dark Knight Rises.
No, it snows in Gotham.
I know. I'm saying, but it was like sunny and snowy, and it was just like I can't fucking picture this as Gotham. Like, it's supposed to be.
Look, that's all because Heath Ledger died. Heath Ledger was supposed to be in that third movie.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Third movie. And he died. They're like, all right, what do we do?
Well, in all actuality, we should see snow in Gotham, right? It's the East Coast. We should.
I know. I brought up the wrong point. They fought in the
you're right.
bright daylight. Yeah,
but you're right though. I've never seen it in any comic, any Batman story. I've never seen it snow in Gotham either. I've literally never seen that.
It was just like it was like a weird setting for them to fight in, and I got it. I got the aesthetic of it, but when you really would pull yourself out of it, right? Pull yourself out of the whole thing and look at it from just a third party standby look in on it. It isn't a Batman movie. It is a like a spy detective thriller.
Dark Knight Rises or the whole trilogy?
The whole trilogy. The whole trilogy.
I disagree with you there a little bit, but
that's
I don't like the Dark Knight Rises at all. I think it's
okay. That's why I said at the beginning, unpopular opinion.
But here's the thing with Batman. Batman is always interesting because his rogues gallery is so interesting. So when you have characters like the Joker, Riddler, and stuff like that, he's always going to look so tame, except for Affleck. And not to spoil anything, but the scene with him and Leto,
but wait, okay, you can't tell me you watch the Snyder Cut Batman and then try to go watch Christian Bale's Batman. It doesn't work.
I think
it doesn't.
I'm saying that Affleck is a way better Batman than Bale. I don't even think they're in the same sport. Forget about league.
Because you insert Christian, but switch the Batman, right? All right, do this for me, right? So put Christian Bale's Batman into the situation in the Snyder Cut. There's no way he is even remotely helpful. You put Ben Affleck in Christian Bale's situation, the situation's handled, right? They're two different Batmen on two different playing fields.
Yeah,
right?
How do I put this? On paper, Christian Bale is a better actor than Ben Affleck. But if you take the same Dark Knight trilogy and put Ben Affleck in it, I think he would have been a better Batman. And even if the movie plays out exactly the same, I think Affleck would have been better. In that world. Same dialogue, same lines.
Oh, that's creepy.
He brings an intensity.
That's creepy.
Yeah,
wait,
you're
what?
just tired.
Did we just have a paranormal activity thing?
Yeah, man. Yo, Justice is supposed to be out of here, dog.
Yeah, I don't really do spooky scary, dog. It's not. I'm good. I'm not about it.
No, I got my.
I just don't. I don't do wild animals. I don't do open bodies of water, and I don't do spooky scary.
I think he's just tired because there's nothing like that ever happened.
I just cried a little bit.
but you guys hit the nail on the head. You go ahead.
Oh God, I'm crying.
Affleck is not. I can't even wrap my head around how you guys have come to this conclusion. I have seen Affleck do nothing but drink and pop pills. That's it. That's all I've seen him do.
Yo, in the Snyder,
give me specific details when he was.
I can't yet. I can't.
No cows.
No. I can't give you. I can't give you situations yet because of no one has seen the movie.
That's one movie.
We could say BBS.
Let me use BBS.
Okay, by all
Ben
means.
Affleck, just in terms of brooding, when he's brooding is way better. Like, I'll take a scene from my favorite movie, The Dark Knight.
Brooding?
When Christian Bale is sitting and
the
Alfred
warehouse
brings him
scene,
breakfast after Rachel dies.
One at a time.
Sorry. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
So let's take the scene where Alfred brings breakfast to Bruce after Rachel dies in The Dark Knight, and he's like, did I bring this upon her? Did I do this madness upon her? And you compare that to Ben Affleck when he's in the Batcave talking about we're being criminals. I think Ben Affleck could have sold that scene better. I'm not saying Christian Bale is a worse actor than Affleck, but I think in that role, Affleck looks like he's going through something. He looks like he's got stuff on his head, bothering him.
In reality, he was.
In reality, that's why it works.
But exactly.
When he says
it only works because he was actually struggling at the time of Nolan's trilogy. He was fine. You would never got that kind of performance. Happened
but I'm
because
saying
he was actually struggling.
But that Affleck's Batman looks, and I compare it to Kiefer Sutherland in 24. Looks like he's under pressure.
Ooh,
he looks like he's under pressure. Like, even when he's sitting normally in a chair, he looks like there's about 2,000 things going on in his head.
Like that scene. So there's a scene in the Snyder Cut where he's talking. So it's when they're in the Batcave, and he mentions the part in the trailer where it's like, I had a dream, I had a premonition. Like, when he's sitting there and he's thinking about that, and he's in just a suit, no cowl. I'm like, bro, that is fucking Bruce Wayne Batman, man.
Like in BBS, I don't know why the shot just so gets me. But Okay, it's kind of unrelated. But when he jumps out the Batmobile and takes off his cowl after
he comes back with the broken ass Batmobile, right?
The broken Batmobile, and he's looking at Lex's file and realizing that he just got that kryptonite because he just broke into LexCorp and stuff like that. I just felt that so much.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Sure.
I haven't felt with.
Can I tell you my favorite?
I can't even. After Batman Begins, and Batman Begins is like 2.5 hours, maybe pushing 3. It's a long movie, and we just step by step we travel with Bruce. From the death of his parents to training with Ra's al Ghul to actually becoming the Batman, step by step, and then we have 2 more movies after that, and there's so much connection and world building and getting to know Bruce, and we spend so much time with him, and you see him in so many different scenarios and situations and how he has to act and think in those scenarios. I have seen none of that from
we're supposed to be, but we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to be having that same feeling with Superman.
Yeah.
Superman is supposed to be that character.
Can I tell you my best Batman moment as Affleck? To me, the best Batfleck moment, it might be the best Batman moment, is when he sees is the scene where he's in Metropolis and he sees Superman fighting Zod. He's angry, but at the same time, he's holding this.
That's a great scene. You got that.
But he's holding a little girl. He doesn't like. He just grabs her and brings her in because she lost her mother. He just brings her in as being both like that. I know what you're going through because I lost my parents, but I'm so mad because I see why it happened.
Yeah,
like to me, like that's Batman.
You got that.
That's
a great
loving
scene.
And
that's a great
angry.
scene.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know if
we're gonna be
That's a great scene. You got that. You got that, Jack.
Running into the smoke.
Damn, my watch just died. That's how long we've been going. God damn.
This is the longest I've ever done this podcast.
We're at 3 hours and 40 minutes, baby boy.
Almost the length of the movie.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, and we're gonna have to end it in a couple minutes. But I'm saying that when I did watch the Dark Knight trilogy, yeah, I loved it, man. I loved every goddamn second of it. I really did. I didn't walk out of the theater. I did walk out of the theater and I was like, oh, so much to talk about. I love this movie. But when I watched Man of Steel, BVS, and then especially when I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, I felt something. Like I felt emotions, and maybe it is the story behind it that kind of amplifies what I felt. Maybe it is, but that's just the way fate took it. And when I see the characters in Snyder's universe, I feel for them in a way that's truly, it's not a film at this point. Like it's like these, I need these characters to be seen through in a different kind of way than when I was watching The Dark Knight, which is just a film for me. And I guess it is a different scenario and they shouldn't be compared.
Yeah. And like, I can't, it just really hit me so hard. It's like pretty profound that when you guys said that the Nolan films, which are great, but they're films, and that the Batman in there is not the driving force. He is a driving force. He's a main character. He's a protagonist. Yeah. But he can theoretically be replaced with a special agent or a person of his same skill set.
But that he really couldn't, though.
Yes, he could.
Batman Begins.
No,
how? From Batman Begins to Dark Knight Rises, you can put some random special agent guy.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying
not random.
I'm not saying a random special agent. I'm saying if you put a character like James Bond in there, it's the same movie.
Batman Begins is his whole origin. How? I don't understand.
Like,
that
the
doesn't
whole
make
point of
any
Batman
sense.
Begins was that he was so well trained. Like, look, when he goes to meet Ra's al Ghul and Batman Begins, he's already a skilled fighter. We see him in a jail beating up 20 guys, and Ra's al Ghul's like, all right, cool. And then when he fights Ra's al Ghul, he changes like fighting styles. Ra's al Ghul's like Panther, and he's like calling all these things. So the one thing I will say about Bale's Batman was like, I believe that guy had mastered 100 martial arts. You know what I mean?
But when Ben takes on a whole warehouse, I'm like, yeah, that's Batman.
That fight scene alone was
also,
so much better. I agree with you.
Batman is made by his villains, and I cannot see. And like when you said that Ben Affleck's Batman, if he was in the Nolan universe, he could literally just trash on all the villains and would take care of them in the matter of a single night. Yes. Secondly, I can't see we've seen a version of Bane, which I feel like it was it was just kept on trying to be so grounded, just grounding everything.
Yeah, it was
realistic. If it doesn't exist in real life or doesn't have any kind of precedent in real life, then it can't be there. I can see Ben Affleck's Batman from comic book Bane, juiced up on Venom, bulging muscles. Mr. Freeze with a freeze gun. He can adapt. He can do stuff. It's that mythological aspect. Batman is a human,
Carlos,
but in his perseverance and in his damaged state,
a great point.
In his damaged state,
yeah, you're right.
He can still find a way to become larger than life and make it among people like in the Justice League.
Bale's Batman was always meant to be. Bale's Batman was always meant to be in a self-contained universe. He was like the only superhero. You could not
be a Superman.
That's why I was so concerned when they did want to insert him into the Man of Steel realm. I was like, no, I don't think that will work. I'm not about that.
Well,
I'm glad Warner Brothers didn't do it because
you know what? With Man of Steel, let's take Man of Steel by itself. I could have imagined Christian Bale's Batman in that.
Nah, I don't.
Just Man of Steel by itself, no BVS or any of that. It was that kind of realistic take,
kind of
first contact alien stuff. But
kind of.
Yeah, I could have seen that.
So I just want to touch on something real quick. I just want to touch on Carlos real quick. Please.
Ugh, gross. That's nasty, bro.
Let me touch on something Carlos said. So what you were just saying there with the whole mythos thing, and that's where the big separation is, that kind of ties into what I've always said about these DCEU movies, from Suicide Squad to Man of Steel to all of them, is that when I look at them and I'm watching them, I feel like this is a comic book world. I feel like I'm in Metropolis. I feel like I'm in Gotham. I feel like I'm in these made up fictional places. Whereas Nolan, it's like, oh no, that's just Pittsburgh,
Chicago.
Chicago or whatever. Yeah, this is Chicago, whatever the fuck they are. But so I think that ties in that whole mythos, seeing Bane with the juice and Mr. Freeze with the gun and the whole nine. But that doesn't pertain to anything. That has nothing to do with Affleck. And that has everything to do with Snyder and world building. That has nothing to do with the casting of Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Affleck.
I heard that, but
it bugged me. I am not one of those diversity quota people, but it bugged me. I love Tom Hardy. I've been a Tom Hardy fan since Black Hawk Down. And yeah, you guys didn't even know he was in that movie. But
no, I think
Bane is supposed to be Mexican or at least Spanish. And they cast Tom Hardy is my dad's height, 5'8". They made him look bigger. You couldn't find one Spanish actor who's 6'2", 6'3", that could have been, I hated his voice. He sounded like Adam Sandler. Oh, yes. Oh.
It was Little Nicky.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises. It's the one Nolan film I don't own.
Yeah, and then they try to draw from old school wrestlers and stuff like that. Which it is it, but that's true. I feel like Nolan was always afraid to go above.
I'll tell you right now,
above
Nolan
and beyond.
planned The Dark Knight Rises with the assumption that Heath Ledger was still going to be alive. Because I guarantee you,
but how much
Joker was going to kill Bane.
How much different would be the story? Because as far as I knew, Heath Ledger's Joker was literally just going to fill the judge role that Scarecrow did in The Dark Knight Rises. That's what his role was going to be.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
To my understanding, it was something similar. I didn't get that specific about it. It was more just like a cameo, or maybe we get a nod to Arkham Asylum when we see him there. But he's not going to play a real role. As far as everything Jack just said with Bane, I never actually thought of it like that. I actually came out of it liking. I don't really like Dark Knight Rises either. It's pretty bad. No. But I like Tom Hardy. I like Tom Hardy though. I did like him. I was like, oh, he put on a good performance, but that's because
his performance isn't bad. But it's if I played Thor, or no, let's say Al Pacino played Thor. Al Pacino is an Oscar winner. He's a good actor, but he should not play Thor. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Unless he was like Scarface, give me my fucking hammer, man. Did it with Scarface, kind of voice and all that.
Oh no,
just the further and further delineation from what Bane is meant to be in the comics and stuff. He's supposed to be a former luchador turned prisoner who has a genius level intellect, who has spent his life, doing it. But no one wants to keep it so contained that it's like, okay, we need him to be, a foil. We need him to be just as good as Batman. How is he going to do that? League of Shadows. But
wait. In Nolan's defense, a big part of Bane has always been being better than Batman. It's always been kind of like I need to prove I'm better than him, right? And I see what you mean, but that's simply because he needs to be able to tie it into his world. Yeah. So that's why Bane had to go through the League of Shadows. You know what I mean?
The whole. All
right, we gotta wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I
2:30. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'll continue this conversation. I'm gonna remove you guys real quick, and then, all right, we'll talk in a minute. Alrighty, guys, make sure we're gonna wrap this up. We're almost at the 4-hour mark. I don't want to get too deep into it. I want to give you guys time to sit down, get yourself ready. This moment is for you. Don't forget. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are here for the first time. If you're returning, we thank you so much. Consider becoming a member of the Patreon Corner. As of now, we thank Caden Reed, Odd, Nick DePalma, and that one Carlos who joined us tonight. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Pop Culture Corner through this journey. This past 7 months has probably been some of the better parts of Justice and I's life. This is so memorable getting to know you guys. I know Drip really appreciates having you guys all around, and we've built a family together, and it all did happen with the Snyder Cut community. It started from there, and we've made so many friends along the way, and it was never meant to be that way, but that's just how it happened. So I know I'm speaking for myself and Justice. We truly appreciate each and every single one of you, and we always will.
That's right. That's right. Beautifully said, Drizzle. I couldn't say it better myself, honestly. Just thank you guys for tuning in, and we love you, and we'll be back soon. We're always here, baby.
Alrighty.